Just started university, and my beautiful tutor turns out to be the mother of my child. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 876. So, you are the hero? Brother Feng, wait a minute, I'll make a phone call. Today I have to teach this gossip a lesson. It's fine if you scold me, but you dare to do this to Brother Feng, how can you tolerate it? After saying that, Liang Wei took out his mobile phone and dialed a number. Hello, Uncle Zhang, it's me, Liang Wei. Someone under you is eating public food and not doing your job. It's fine if you scold me, but you dare to scold my eldest brother. You can handle it. After saying that, Liang Wei hung up the phone and turned to Lin Feng. Brother Feng, it's done, just wait. Okay. Lin Feng didn't refuse, he accepted this favor. About 10 minutes later, a man with a big belly ran over from the gate of the vehicle management office. He panted and forced a smile, and asked Lin Feng and others. I wonder which one is Mr. Li. I am. Who are you? Liang Wei said lightly. Mr. Li, I am Zhen Xianzheng, the person in charge of this place. I'm sorry to have caused you trouble. Zhen Xianzheng bowed and apologized to Liang Wei. Well, what? Really naive? It's not me who is suffering, it's my elder brother. You should ask for his forgiveness. Liang Wei said lightly. Well, brother, I'm really sorry. We did something wrong. I hope you can give us a chance to correct our mistakes. Zhen Xianzheng said to Lin Feng with an apologetic face. Brother Feng, you decide how to deal with this. Liang Wei said respectfully to Lin Feng. Liang Wei gave Lin Feng enough face. Well, really naive, right? Well, I just came here to deal with a traffic violation. As for that woman, how to deal with her for eating taxpayers' money and treating taxpayers like this is your internal matter. I can't ask about it. Lin Feng pointed at the woman and spoke slowly. Okay, Mr. Feng, I understand. Zhen Xianzheng said respectfully. The woman standing by the counter actually felt something was wrong when Zhen Xianzheng first appeared. After hearing what Zhen Xianzheng said, she was trembling with despair. You, write a resignation report immediately, go to the finance department to collect this month's salary, and don't come tomorrow. Zhen Xianzheng said to the woman with a cold face. Please, don't fire me. That director Zhang is my uncle. The woman said to Zhen Xianzheng with a pleading face. You don't have to beg me. Even if the director is your uncle, it's useless today. Zhen Xianzheng looked at the woman with disgust. The woman was desperate and collapsed on the ground. She didn't want to lose this easy, well-paid, iron rice bowl job. She crawled in front of Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi and knelt on the ground. Mr. Feng, I was wrong. Please, don't fire me, I was wrong, please. The woman cried and begged. Lin Feng looked at her expressionlessly and said nothing. Although Zhang Yuxi felt a little bit reluctant, she was so angry when she thought of her arrogant and domineering appearance just now that she stopped talking. Haha, where's the arrogance just now? Didn't you say you wouldn't let me go? Humph. Misfortunes sent by heaven can be forgiven, but those brought upon oneself cannot be forgiven. Liang Wei said lightly on the side. The woman looked like she had no desire to live and regretted her decision. She knew that she was finished. Master Feng, Master Li, and this lady, please come this way. Let's go inside for a cup of tea. Wait a minute, let others help Master Feng deal with the violation. After saying that, he said to another female staff member at the counter, Xiao Chen, come here and help Master Feng deal with the violation business. The staff member named Xiao Chen hurried over and respectfully took the driver's license and vehicle registration certificate from Lin Feng. She quickly went to deal with it. She witnessed the whole process with her own eyes. These people are all big guys. With the lessons learned from the past, she dared not neglect it. Lin Feng and his companions, led by Zhen Xianzheng, entered the office and drank tea. Oh my god. Ferrari 488. Xiao Chen looked up at the woman who was still crying on the ground, thinking that she deserved to die. Such a big boss dared to offend her. Huh? No violation. All violation records were cancelled. Xiao Chen was shocked. She had never seen such an operation. She looked at the notes below the record. It turned out that Lin Feng was the mysterious rich second generation who rescued a pregnant woman on the street in the past 2 days. All these red light violation records were for saving people, so all the penalties were cancelled. Soon, Xiao Chen, a staff member, knocked on the door and entered the office. She looked at Lin Feng and then at Zhen Xianzheng, and seemed to be hesitant to speak. Zhen Xianzheng looked at her like that, with a look of dissatisfaction on his face. Xiao Chen, have you handled it? What do you mean by nagging? Just say it. Zhen Xianzheng scolded angrily. Oh, Mr. Lin's violation records have all been cancelled by the higher-ups. After that, Xiao Chen explained, and everyone suddenly realized. It turned out that Lin Feng was the hero who rescued the pregnant woman on the street. Zhen Xianzheng looked at Lin Feng cautiously, the mysterious and low-key rich second generation, the eldest brother of the son of Jianli Group. At this moment, Lin Feng was labeled as a big boss. Zhen Xianzheng was relieved at this time, and was glad that he came in time, otherwise his position would probably be lost. Oh my god. Brother Feng, it turns out that the protagonist of the street rescue of the pregnant woman is you. I also read the news. I was wondering how there are people in the Magic City who have the same car as Brother Feng. Tisk tisk tisk, Brother Feng, what a man. Liang Yi looked as if he had suddenly realized something, and praised Lin Feng. Well, at that time, human lives were at stake. I didn't think so much, it was just a small effort. Lin Feng said, a little embarrassed by the praise. Zhang Yuxi only found out about this today, and Lin Feng had never mentioned it to her. It seems that Lin Feng really didn't take the matter of saving people seriously. He did good deeds without leaving a name. What a great character. Since the violation didn't need to be dealt with, Lin Feng didn't have anything to deal with. The few of them chatted for a while. Lin Feng looked at the time. It was almost 1:30, and he had to go back to school. Lin Feng stood up to say goodbye. Liang Yi also knew that Lin Feng was about to take the college entrance examination, so he didn't try to keep him. They agreed to have a meal together after Lin Feng finished the college entrance examination, as a way to celebrate Lin Feng's victory in the college entrance examination in advance. Lin Feng nodded and agreed. After all, he owed Liang Yi a favor for today's incident. Boom. Lin Feng's Ferrari 488 roared and headed towards the direction of Magic City No. 3 Middle School. After the two separated, the moment they returned to the classroom, the bell for class rang. Zhang Yuxi quickly immersed herself in her studies. Chapter 877 Book Tearing Festival. Time passed quickly. Soon it was time to finish school in the afternoon. Hello, hello, hello. The campus radio station suddenly called. Dear teachers and students, good afternoon. Since the college entrance examination is coming soon, in order to allow the senior students to get enough sleep, from today on, the evening self-study of the senior students will be suspended. I hope that the students will conserve their energy and meet the challenge of the college entrance examination. AWW. Wow. Yes. A burst of noise suddenly arose. The entire senior class was boiling collectively, and everyone cheered in the classroom, hitting the tables and chairs. Many people ran to the corridor outside the classroom and shouted loudly, venting the depression in their hearts over the past few days. And all of this was known to the school leaders and teachers. Perhaps they understood the pressure everyone had been under these days, so they turned a blind eye, which was the case in previous years. Students, the annual book tearing festival is here again, let's have fun. Someone held a loudspeaker and shouted in the corridor of the senior class. Yes, it's the annual senior high school traditional book tearing festival again. Everyone rushed to the classroom and moved all the homework books and exercise books in their drawers to the corridor. Classmates, let's enjoy the last carnival before the college entrance examination. Ouch! Swish! The sound of paper tearing rang out in the corridor of the entire senior high school. Swish! The homework books and exercise books were turned into pieces at this moment. The third floor, the fourth floor, the fifth floor. Everyone stood in the corridor and raised their hands at the same time. Swish! The paper scraps flew in the air, swirling, slowly drifting to the ground, drifting away. On the eve of the college entrance examination, 6 years of elementary school, 3 years of junior high school, 3 years of high school, 12 years of youth, parents' hard work, teachers' cultivation, classmates' friendship, everything was torn into pieces, rushed out of the window, and the garden was full of flying flowers. The depression in everyone's heart during this period seemed to be like the flying paper scraps, drifting away with the wind. The students standing in the corridor, the students standing downstairs, and the students standing at the classroom windows. At this moment, all were silent, watching the white fragments drifting all over the sky, slowly falling to the ground. There was a moment of silence. Woohoo! A cheer sounded, and the cheers that followed were like waves hitting the beach, rising and falling continuously. Lin Feng stood quietly in front of the window, watching the scene outside the corridor. A wave of emotion surged in his heart, and the corners of his mouth inadvertently curled up slightly. Brother Feng, sing a song. At this time, someone shouted loudly in the corridor outside the classroom. Yes, Brother Feng, sing a song to commemorate our high school life that is about to pass away. Everyone started to make a fuss. Not only the students in Lin Feng's own class, but also the boys in the next few classes ran over and shouted. They had all seen Lin Feng's singing, and everyone looked at Lin Feng expectantly. Seeing everyone's extremely expectant and eager eyes, Lin Feng felt an inexplicable emotion in his heart. He nodded and said, "Okay." Surrounded by the crowd, Lin Feng walked to the corridor outside the classroom. At this time, I don't know which classmate got a mobile speaker and microphone from the school broadcasting room. Brother Feng, use this so that everyone can hear it, and everyone can share this moment together. As he spoke, he handed the microphone to Lin Feng. Lin Feng took the microphone and turned on the power of the mobile speaker. Someone quickly connected the computer in the classroom to the speaker. Brother Feng, what song do you want to sing? Someone shouted to Lin Feng outside the classroom next to the computer on the podium in the classroom. Lin Feng thought about it for a while, and immediately had an answer in his mind. So he slowly said, "Sing a song, True Hero." "Okay, I'll be right there." The people in the classroom responded. "Next, I'll sing a song for everyone to commemorate our high school career that is about to pass away," Lin Feng said slowly with a microphone, and his voice was amplified by the mobile speaker and spread throughout the entire senior high school teaching building. At this time, Zhang Yuxi, who was standing in front of the windowsill of the classroom, also heard Lin Feng's voice, and a hint of sweetness appeared on her face. "In the last days of the 3 years of high school, thank you for being there." Ding ding ding. The music suddenly sounded, and the whole world quickly quieted down. Looking at the white confetti flying all over the sky, Raymond Lam sang softly. "I once had a dream in my heart, to use my singing to make you forget all the pain. The brilliant starry sky, who is the real hero? Ordinary people moved me the most. No more hatred, no more pain. I hope there are traces of love everywhere in the world. Use our songs to exchange for your sincere smile, and wish your life will be different from now on." Everyone was attracted by Raymond Lam's gentle and unique singing voice and immersed in it. Someone sang along softly, and then, 1, 2, 3. Everyone in the corridor sang along. When it came to the climax of the chorus, it became a collective chorus of the entire senior year. Everyone in the corridor, whether they knew each other or not, hugged each other's shoulders and sang loudly, "Seize every minute of life, go all out to realize our dreams, without going through wind and rain. How can we see the rainbow? No one can succeed easily." The whole campus was echoing with everyone's singing. Seize every touching moment in life, hug your beloved friends warmly, let the sincere words and happy tears flow in your heart and mind. After the singing ended, everyone was immersed in their own world, unable to extricate themselves for a long time. Chapter 878 Unreliable Dad. "Dad, have you seen my admission ticket?" Lin Feng walked out of the room and said to Lin Dashan on the sofa. "Second brother, look, this is Lin Feng's admission ticket. How about it? Isn't this boy handsome?" Lin Feng saw that his admission ticket was in his father's hand, and he smiled helplessly. In his time, his father Lin Dashan was unable to take the college entrance examination due to some special reasons, which was the biggest regret of his life. Therefore, Lin Dashan was holding Lin Feng's admission ticket at this moment, as excited as taking the college entrance examination himself. Lin Dashan looked up and saw Lin Feng standing at the door of the room, looking at him, and said casually, "I'm chatting with your second uncle on video. What's wrong? What did you say just now?" "Oh, nothing." Seeing him so excited, Lin Feng shook his head and said. Seeing Lin Feng said it was okay, Lin Dashan turned around and continued to talk to the mobile phone video. "Second brother, thinking back to the past, if we could also take the college entrance examination." Seeing his father talking again, Lin Feng smiled helplessly and turned back to the room. "The college entrance examination is tomorrow, time flies so fast." Lin Feng sat at his desk, looking at the review materials for the 3-year college entrance examination and the 5-year simulation on the table in front of him. He stretched out his right hand and gently stroked the materials that had accompanied him for 3 years and were about to say goodbye, and he couldn't help but sigh in his heart. Click. At this time, the door of the house was suddenly opened, and Joe Killen appeared at the door with a big bag of things. "Hey, Lao Lin, come and help me carry the vegetables, and take this fish to the kitchen to kill it. We will have fish soup tonight to nourish our son." Joe Killen's voice came from outside the door. "Hey, I'm here. Second brother, I won't talk to you anymore, I'm going to get the fish first." After saying that, Lin Dashin hung up the video call. He casually put Lin Feng's admission ticket in the drawer under the coffee table. Lin Dashin hurried to the door, took the big bag of things from his wife Joe Killen's hand, and carried it into the kitchen. Then he started to kill the fish. After a busy period, Lin Dashin had already forgotten about Lin Feng's admission ticket. When the family of 3 was having dinner in the evening, Lin Feng suddenly remembered the admission ticket and asked Lin Dashin, "Dad, is my admission ticket with you?" Lin Dashin thought about it and thought that he seemed to have put the admission ticket in the file bag. He would just check it later. So he said, "Well, I put it in the file bag in the study for you. I will take you to the examination room tomorrow morning. Just take it with you when you go." "Well." Lin Feng nodded and stopped talking. So he lowered his head to eat. "Son, come and drink another bowl of fish soup. This is nutritious." Joe Killen asked Lin Feng to finish the fish soup on the table. "Mom, I have already drunk 2 bowls. If I drink more, I will be full to death." Lin Feng said helplessly. "Go away. This fish soup is all water. It will be gone after going to the toilet. Come, finish this fish soup. Mom worked hard to make it for you," Joe Killen said with a straight face. Lin Feng had no choice but to drink another bowl. His stomach was about to burst. "Did I make this fish soup?" Lin Dashin muttered quietly. "Huh?" Joe Killen glared at Lin Dashin. Lin Dashin had to lower his head and pick up his food in dismay. He didn't dare to provoke her. After dinner, the family sat on the sofa and chatted. Joe Killen repeatedly told Lin Feng to pay attention to this and that, which made her more nervous than Lin Feng. Lin Feng knew that his mother was concerned about him, so he listened to her carefully. "Mom, don't worry, I know," Lin Feng said. "Okay, wife, it's just the college entrance examination, it's okay," Lin Dashin said casually. "What do you know? You haven't passed the college entrance examination." Joe Killen glared at Lin Dashin and scolded him. "Okay, I won't say anything, this is all shot." After that, Lin Dashin got up and took a shower. As for the admission ticket, Lin Dashin had forgotten it for a long time. And Lin Feng thought that Lin Dashin had already put it away, so he didn't think much about it. No words were spoken all night. The next day, at 6 o'clock in the morning, Lin Feng opened his eyes and got up directly from the bed. After washing up, he waited for Lin Dashin to have breakfast together, and then Lin Dashin drove him to the examination room. As for Zhang Yuxi, her father Zhang Fuiong also took her to the examination room today, so Lin Feng didn't have to go and wait for her today. When Lin Feng and Lin Dashin finished breakfast, it was almost 8 o'clock. It was just the right time to go out and get to school at this time. After all, it had been calculated. So the two of them went out. When they were halfway through the drive, Lin Dashin suddenly remembered something, so he spoke. "Son, check if everything in the file bag is complete." "Yes." So Lin Feng opened the file bag and checked it. "Dad, where's the admission ticket?" Lin Feng flipped through it and didn't see the admission ticket. "Huh? Isn't it in there?" Lin Dashin asked with some doubts. "I've looked through it several times, Dad. Did you forget to put the admission ticket in?" Lin Dashin thought about it again. He had a video call with his eldest brother last night, then Joe Killen came back, and then he. "Oh no. I put the admission ticket in the drawer of the coffee table, and I forgot about it later. I thought I put it in." Lin Dashin shouted with regret. Lin Feng was speechless. His father had always been unreliable. He didn't expect that this time, he was so unreliable. Lin Feng looked at the time. It was already 8:30. Turning around now and then going to school, this time is a bit troublesome. "Dad, turn around quickly." Lin Dashin turned around and rushed back. After returning to the community, Lin Feng jumped out of the car and ran upstairs. After opening the door, he found the admission ticket in the drawer under the coffee table, grabbed his car keys, and hurried downstairs, not even taking the elevator. He looked at the time and it was already 8:45. If he took Lin Dashen's car again, he would be too late. So he said loudly to Lin Dashen, "Dad, I'll drive there myself. You don't have to take me there." He hurried to the parking lot. After opening the car door, he stepped on the accelerator to the bottom, and the Ferrari 488 roared away with a roar. Lin Feng used his master-level car driving skills to the extreme along the way, constantly shuttling between cars and people. Lin Feng took a break from his busy schedule and looked at the clock on the car. It was already 8:55, and the school gate was about to close. The school gate was right in front of him. Lin Feng did a tailspin, using half of the wheels as a support point on the green slope at the school gate, and stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. Boom! The Ferrari 488 jumped forward and the car body flew high. This scene shocked passers-by. Squeak! A sharp sound of tires rubbing against the ground sounded, and Lin Feng did a tailspin and parked the car sideways at the school gate. He opened the car door and threw the car keys to the security uncle. "Uncle, help me stop the car, it's too late." After saying that, Lin Feng ran into the school, leaving the security uncle standing there in confusion, muttering to himself, "I can't drive." Chapter 879, Journalist Interview. Entering the campus. Lin Feng ran all the way, and just as he stepped into the examination room, ding-ling-ling. The exam bell rang right after him, and the time was exactly right. Lin Feng hurriedly found his seat and sat down. Huh? Lin Feng took a deep breath to calm himself down. His father was really unreliable. Lin Feng shook his head, dispelling the distracting thoughts in his mind, and lowered his head to answer the test paper seriously. An hour and a half later. Huh? Lin Feng finished writing all the test papers, and he was really relieved. After checking it once, he raised his hand to hand in the paper after he found no problems. His car was left at the school gate, and he didn't know what happened to it. He had to deal with it. In addition, he had to go back and tell his father, Lin Dashen, otherwise, his father would probably be worried and regretful. After Lin Feng handed in the paper, he quickly came to the school gate. At this time, many parents of students waiting for their children had gathered at the school gate, and there were even reporters waiting at the gate. Seeing that Lin Feng had come out early, everyone was a little curious and had different thoughts. The female reporter from the Magic City TV station saw Lin Feng coming out, her eyes lit up, and she quickly walked towards Lin Feng with a microphone in her hand. "Hello, classmate. I'm a reporter from the Magic City TV station. I want to interview you. Can I bother you for a few minutes?" The female reporter asked Lin Feng excitedly. Okay. Then hurry up, I'm in a hurry." Seeing that she was so enthusiastic, Lin Feng didn't want to refuse her face. Lin Feng could swear that he definitely didn't agree because he saw that the female reporter's panda was bigger. "Classmate, how difficult do you think the Chinese language questions in this college entrance examination are compared with the past?" The female reporter asked with a microphone in her hand. Oh. Lin Feng reached out and slapped the microphone away. "You put the microphone in my mouth." Lin Feng was a little speechless. Sorry, classmate." The female reporter apologized with an embarrassed look on her face. "Classmate, let's continue with the topic just now. How difficult do you think the Chinese questions in this year's college entrance examination are compared with the previous ones?" "Oh, I don't know. This is my first time taking the college entrance examination." Lin Feng was a little speechless. Lin Feng's words made the female reporter blackline. "So, classmate, you handed in the paper in advance. Do you think the Chinese questions this time are difficult?" I think it's quite simple. I just don't know what other people think." Female reporter. "Then classmate, how many points do you think you can get in this Chinese exam?" It should be around 150 points." Lin Feng answered honestly. For Lin Feng, this time's questions are really nothing. They are even simpler than the last citywide unified exam. He estimated that he should still get full marks. Oh. The female reporter didn't know how to respond to Lin Feng's words. She was a little speechless. This kid might be a psychopath. If Lin Feng knew her inner thoughts, he would definitely be wronged. He was really just telling the truth. After she was silent for a few seconds, she was indeed a reporter with superb adaptability. She smiled and spoke. "You are very confident, so I won't bother you anymore. Thank you for accepting the interview. I wish you success in the college entrance exam." "Oh, thank you. Lin Feng also replied politely. Some parents nearby also heard the conversation between Lin Feng and the reporter. They felt that Lin Feng was too arrogant. They could only say that they didn't understand the world of geniuses. Lin Feng walked to the guard room and found the uncle. "Uncle, I'm here to get the car." It's you. No one can drive your thing. I looked for a lot of people and finally found someone who can drive. The car is parked in the parking lot at the side door of the school. You go and drive it." The uncle looked at Lin Feng helplessly. After speaking, he handed the car keys to Lin Feng. Lin Feng took the car keys, thanked him, and went to get the car. After getting the car, Lin Feng got in the car, started the engine, and did it in one go. With one foot on the accelerator, the sports car sped away with a roar. After returning to the community, Lin Feng looked at the time. It was exactly 11:30. It was estimated that Zhang Yuxi and the others had just started to hand in their papers. After parking the car, he took the elevator upstairs. Catcha! Lin Feng opened the door and saw his father, Lin Dashan, sitting on the sofa smoking fiercely. The whole living room was filled with smoke. He didn't know how many cigarettes he had smoked. Lin Dashan heard the door open and looked up to see Lin Feng walking in. His eyes lit up and he quickly stood up and asked anxiously, "Son, what's wrong?" "Oh, what's wrong? Tell me." Lin Dashan was so anxious that he said anxiously. If Lin Feng couldn't miss the Chinese test because of this mistake he made, Lin Dashan might never forgive himself in his life, and he couldn't explain to his wife Jo Killen. Lin Feng originally wanted to tease his father, but seeing his self-blaming look, he couldn't bear it, so he stopped teasing him. "Well, I made it without any danger. It's okay. Don't worry." Lin Feng looked at his father and spoke slowly. "Huh?" Lin Dashan exhaled heavily and sat back on the sofa. He took out a cigarette with trembling hands and lit it. Hiss. "Huh?" After exhaling a puff of smoke, Lin Dashan thought, something is wrong. He glanced at the clock on the wall and stood up suddenly. "No, it's just past 11:30. How come you're back home?" Lin Dashan said with his eyes wide open. Could this kid deliberately lie to himself to comfort himself? "Oh, I finished it, so I handed it in early and came back," Lin Feng said casually. "This. You didn't write it randomly, did you?" Lin Dashan looked at Lin Feng with some doubt and said. "Lin Feng. Dad, don't worry, I didn't write it randomly, it's quite simple, so I finished it. It's quite simple." If someone else said it, Lin Dashan might not believe it. But Lin Feng, this kid, got full marks in the citywide unified exam, so he said it was simple and he finished it, so he shouldn't have lied to himself this time. After Lin Dashan took a deep puff of his cigarette, he put out the cigarette butt in the ashtray. Only then did he feel relieved and the worry on his face disappeared. Lin Dashan still felt a little guilty, so he stood up and walked towards the kitchen, saying, "Son, Dad will make you lunch. Take a rest after you finish eating, and Dad will take you to the exam room in the afternoon." Lin Feng, it's rare to see his father being so considerate. I guess this time, his father was really scared. Listening to the busy sounds of Lin Dashan in the kitchen, Lin Feng lay on the sofa, watching TV bored. Lin Feng didn't ask about Zhang Yuxi's situation. During this period, he didn't want to affect Zhang Yuxi, so he asked her to take the exam well and talk about it after the exam. Soon, after eating the loving lunch made by his father Lin Dashan, Lin Feng went back to the room, set an alarm clock, and began to rest. He was really tired from the rush in the morning. Soon, the alarm rang. Lin Feng got up, washed his face, packed his things, and got into Lin Dashan's car to go to school. For the afternoon math test, Lin Feng thought he wouldn't be able to hand in the paper so quickly, so he asked his dad to go home first and come back around 5 o'clock. Ding-ling-ling. The exam bell rang. Everyone was answering the questions quietly, and the only sound in the classroom was the rustling sound of the pen tip on the test paper. Chapter 880. Are you trying to murder your husband? Time flies. 3 days passed in a blink of an eye. This afternoon, it was the last subject, English. After writing the last word, Lin Feng knew that this 12-year battle had come to a successful conclusion. Lin Feng looked up and glanced at the students who were still struggling to answer the questions. There was an emotion flowing in his heart. After today, everyone will go their separate ways, and perhaps many years later, everyone will have no intersection. The college entrance examination is a dividing line in life. Some people go left, some go right, and each choice is a different life. Maybe everyone is a passerby in someone else's life. You come and I, leaving some marks in a short life, that's all. He whispered in his heart, goodbye college entrance examination. Goodbye classmates. We are liberated. Lin Feng gently dispelled these inexplicable emotions in his mind. Then he suddenly thought of Zhang Yuxi. Finally, they can be together openly and finally have enough time together. Yuxi, here I come. After Lin Feng checked the test paper, he found that there was nothing left to change, so he raised his hand to signal the invigilator to hand in the paper. After Lin Feng handed in his paper and took his backpack, he walked out of the examination room and wandered around the campus. He had to wait for Zhang Yuxi. The college entrance examination was over. He hadn't seen her for a long time. He missed her so much. He took out his mobile phone from his bag and checked the time. There were still more than 10 minutes before the exam ended, so he went to wait outside Zhang Yuxi's examination room. Ding ding ding. The exam was over. A group of people swarmed out of the examination room, with different expressions on their faces. Some looked relaxed, some frowned, some looked pale, and some cheered directly. Just as Lin Feng was observing everyone, Zhang Yuxi slowly walked out of the examination room, and her unique temperament was extremely obvious in the crowd. Her delicate and beautiful little face was as calm as water, without any emotion. Then when she looked up and saw Lin Feng not far away, a sweet smile bloomed on her face. At this moment, it was like the iceberg melting, and spring flowers bloomed in an instant. She walked quickly towards Lin Feng, the two smiled at each other, and then held each other's hands, walked through the crowd, and walked out of the school gate. Did you hand in your paper early again today? Zhang Yuxi asked with her head tilted. Well, I handed it in when I finished it. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's face and said with a smile. Hate it. You pinched my face again. Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. Yuxi, now that the exam is over, is there any place you want to go? Lin Feng asked casually. Well, let's go to Beijing. I want to feel the charm of the ancient capital. Zhang Yuxi thought for a while and said. Then she raised her little face and asked Lin Feng, what about you? Lin Feng looked at her serious face and wanted to tease her. Me? Of course I'm going to a place with many beauties. Well, Jiangnan, I heard that the beauties there are very good. Lin Feng said with a look of yearning. Zhang Yuxi's little face darkened instantly, and she stepped on Lin Feng's instep with an angry foot. Hiss. Yuxi, you want to murder your husband? Lin Feng said with a bitter smile looking at Zhang Yuxi. Humph, you deserve it. Who told you to say such a thing? Zhang Yuxi said angrily. Okay, don't be angry. I was just kidding. How could I do that? Lin Feng turned Zhang Yuxi around and looked at her with love in his eyes. Yuxi, wherever you go, I'll go too. Didn't I say that before? Little fool. Humph. After hearing what Lin Feng said, Zhang Yuxi's anger had subsided, but she still didn't want to pay attention to him. Lin Feng was so regretful now. He should have stopped teasing her earlier. It was all her own fault. Lin Feng kept coaxing her like a child. Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng's anxious and silly look, and her heart softened. She couldn't get angry anymore. She rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said, Don't say that again in the future. If you dare to let me down, humph, I will ignore you. I promise I won't let you down. Don't worry, my wife. Lin Feng patted his chest and promised. Zhang Yuxi's face was smiling again. Lin Feng breathed a sigh of relief. This little girl is a bit difficult to deal with. The two walked to the parking lot next to the school while talking. After Lin Feng opened the car door, the two got on the car and left with the roar of the car. The school gate gradually disappeared in the rearview mirror, along with the 3 years of high school life that had experienced both hardship and joy, but the memory remained in the depths of my mind forever. Yuxi, shall I take you to a place to relax? Lin Feng said while driving. Where to? Zhang Yuxi asked curiously. Wife will know in a moment. Lin Feng kept it a secret. Since Lin Feng said so, Zhang Yuxi was a little curious but did not ask any more questions. She began to look forward to it. About 20 minutes later, Lin Feng parked the car in the underground parking lot of Huajing building. This was the place where Lin Feng came to pick up the car for the first time. After Lin Feng parked the car, he held Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two took the elevator to the 5th floor of the building. After the two went up to the 5th floor, Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi to turn left and right, and soon stopped in front of a store. I saw the sign at the door of the store. There were a few big words written on it, Starlight Game City. That's right, the Game City is where Lin Feng wants to take Zhang Yuxi. This store was discovered by Lin Feng when he came to buy couple rings last time. He had wanted to bring Zhang Yuxi here for a long time, but because he was quite nervous about the college entrance examination review before, although he had the help of the system, he could easily get a good score. But Zhang Yuxi didn't have a system. So he kept delaying it until now. Game City. Lin Feng, I've never played it before. I heard from my deskmate that it's very interesting here, and I've always wanted to come and play. Zhang Yuxi pulled Lin Feng's arm and said excitedly. Let's go, wife. Today I'll let you play enough at once and relax. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's happy look, scratched her little nose and said with a smile. The two walked in hand. Soon Lin Feng bought a lot of coins and walked over. Yuxi, which one do you want to play first? Lin Feng asked. Zhang Yuxi was a little tangled in her heart. They all looked very fun, and she didn't know how to choose for a while. Suddenly her eyes lit up. She saw the dolls in the claw machine over there were so cute. She pointed at the claw machine over there and said, Lin Feng, that doll is so cute, let's play with that one first. Okay. Lin Feng looked at her lovingly and said. The two of them walked towards the claw machine hands in hand. Chapter 881 My Mom Still Loves Me. At this time, over at the claw machine, a couple was playing. Zhang Yuxi looked at how they operated the claw machine with curiosity. After watching for a while, she felt that she had learned it, so she said to Lin Feng with confidence. Lin Feng, I'll grab this. So Lin Feng put in the coin and guided Zhang Yuxi to operate it. Oh. Just a little bit. Zhang Yuxi said with annoyance. Ah. Just a little bit, Lin Feng. Zhang Yuxi said to Lin Feng in great annoyance, with an unhappy face. Little fool, let me do it. Lin Feng rubbed Zhang Yuxi's face and said gently. Lin Feng put the game coin into the machine, operated the moving rod to move left and right with his hand, and stared at the mechanical claw of the claw machine without moving. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's serious look and looked forward to it. At this moment, Lin Feng suddenly hit the confirmation button. The mechanical claw fell down suddenly. Catch. Catch nothing. Lin Feng looked embarrassed. He was really a fierce tiger in operation. He saw that his record was 0 and 5. Ha ha ha. Zhang Yuxi laughed at the side, and she was about to cry. Mistake, mistake. Try it again. Lin Feng said, and then put in the game coins again. The music of the claw machine sounded again. Lin Feng controlled the falling direction of the claw machine's mechanical claw, pressed the confirmation key, and the mechanical claw firmly grasped the head of the doll. Wow! The doll was thrown into the outlet. Ah! Caught it, caught it! Zhang Yuxi shouted excitedly. She rushed forward and kissed Lin Feng hard on the face, and then took the doll out of the outlet. She held the doll in her arms with a happy face. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's happy look, which was really cute. Lin Feng said proudly, How is it, husband is awesome. Yeah, awesome. Zhang Yuxi nodded fiercely. Then the two went to play the next project. Lin Feng, this looks so fun. Zhang Yuxi pulled Lin Feng's arm and pointed at the simulated racing car. So the two of them walked over, and there were just 2 empty seats. After Lin Feng put in the game coins, the two of them sat on it and started the simulated race. Lin Feng, who has master-level car driving skills, can still operate very smoothly even on this kind of simulation machine. Lin Feng's car is flying all the way. Zhang Yuxi's car kept hitting the wall and even turned around. Hey, Lin Feng, wait for me. Zhang Yuxi saw that Lin Feng's car had already run away, and she shouted anxiously. My wife has ordered, how dare I disobey? Lin Feng had no choice but to stop, and then walk to Zhang Yuxi's seat, holding her hand, and the two of them operated together. Yeah, we're at the finish line. I'm the first place. Zhang Yuxi said happily. And Lin Feng's car was still standing there. Lin Feng couldn't help laughing when he saw Zhang Yuxi's happy look. The two of them kept trying various projects and played almost all the games in the arcade. The small basket of game coins was also quickly running out of money. After throwing in the last game coin, Lin Feng took out his mobile phone to check the time. It was almost 7:30 in the evening, so he decided to end his trip to the arcade. Wife, it's getting late. Let's stop here today, right? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was still excited and tireless, and said, Okay. Zhang Yuxi still looked a little unsatisfied. Lin Feng looked at her silly look and said with a smile, Okay, It's time to go to dinner. I'll take you to play next time. Lin Feng touched her head with a doting look. Zhang Yuxi's eyes lit up when she heard Lin Feng's words, as if they were glowing. Yeah, it's a deal. Don't lie to me. Okay, I won't lie to you, my little fool. Lin Feng said with a smile. Then the two returned the small basket of game coins and walked out of the arcade. The two took the elevator to the dining area on the 3rd floor and found a restaurant to sit down. Lin Feng, I'm so happy today. I haven't been so relaxed for a long time. Zhang Yuxi said happily after drinking a sip of water. Lin Feng looked at her gently. He knew that although Zhang Yuxi didn't say it on the surface, she had been tense and studying hard. After the college entrance examination today, the trip to the arcade completely relaxed her mood. That's why she was so excited and happy. Afterwards, Lin Feng ordered Zhang Yuxi's favorite dishes. The two ate and chatted, and Zhang Yuxi laughed like a silver bell from time to time. She was really happy today. After the two were full, they went downstairs and took a walk in the square. Then they saw someone singing on the street in the square. Lin Feng, look, it's the same little brother from last time. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. She will never forget that day, when Lin Feng sang to her affectionate confession. Let's go and have a look. We won't steal the limelight from the little brother tonight. We should just be a good audience. Lin Feng said with a smile. Holding Zhang Yuxi's hand, the two walked over slowly. The two sat quietly on the steps and listened to the song. The breeze was blowing, and Zhang Yuxi snuggled in Lin Feng's arms, feeling Lin Feng's breath, and her heart was peaceful. The two sat on the steps and listened for a long time. Finally, when the little brother closed the stall and ended the concert today, Lin Feng stood up, walked over, and put a few hundred yuan in the guitar case. The little brother recognized Lin Feng at once, and he was a little excited. He wanted to say something. Come on, God will not let down those who work hard. Lin Feng patted him on the shoulder and said. Then he took Zhang Yuxi's hand and the two strolled in the center of the square. Walking. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye it was 10:30 in the evening. The two went down to the parking lot, took the car, and ended tonight's play with the roar of the sports car. Lin Feng was ready to send Zhang Yuxi home. I just finished a college entrance examination today. I thought that Zhang Yuxi's parents were probably still waiting for her to go back. I asked about her situation, and it was not good for her to stay outside for too long. After the two of them were affectionate in the car for a while, Zhang Yuxi went upstairs. Lin Feng turned around, stepped on the accelerator, and the engine roared up and soon disappeared into the night. After returning home, Lin Feng just opened the door and saw his parents sitting on the sofa watching TV. Dad, Mom, I'm back. You little bastard, I thought you wouldn't be back tonight. Lin Dashan said with a joking face. Go away, what are you talking about? Son has been tired for so long, what's wrong with going out to play? Joe Killen glared at Lin Dashan and said unhappily. It's still my mother who loves her son, he. Lin Feng laughed. You little bastard, do you mean that I don't love you anymore? I forgot who made lunch for you these days. Lin Dashan said with an unhappy face. No, Mom and Dad, you two both love me. Even his own dad is jealous, Lin Feng said helplessly. The family of three sat on the sofa and chatted for a while, then Lin Feng got up to take a shower. After washing up, Lin Feng lay down on the bed. Lin Feng looked at the ceiling and murmured to himself. Good night, tomorrow will be a brand new beginning. Chapter 882 My son has grown up. The next day, Lin Feng got up at 6 in the morning. There was no way. He had gotten used to it during his senior year of high school. During the days since his rebirth, Lin Feng had always gotten up early. His body memory had become an instinctive reaction. Now he couldn't sleep in even if he wanted to. After washing up and eating breakfast, Lin Feng sat at his desk and turned on his computer. It was time to start the stock money-making plan mentioned earlier. At present, he had accumulated about 1.5 million yuan on hand. Lin Feng planned to multiply it several times before the college entrance examination results came out. After all, he had master-level investment and financial management skills. The system said that he could make a profit of at least 90%, which was almost a waste. If Lin Feng couldn't multiply his principal several times, how useless he would be. After Lin Feng sat on the computer and checked how to open a stock account, he called Huate Securities Company and asked the staff to help him open a stock account. It was almost 10 o'clock when all this was done. Huh? It was still convenient in the last life. I remember that I could open an account online directly at that time. I could open an account with 20,000 yuan. Lin Feng muttered to himself. Ling. Lin Feng received a text message on his mobile phone, prompting that the stock account has been processed. Lin Feng immediately withdrew 1.5 million and deposited it into the stock account. Lin Feng was not in a hurry to buy any stock. After all, even if he had master-level investment and financial management capabilities, he couldn't just choose blindly. That would be the same as throwing money into the sea. Lin Feng first browsed through all the stocks on the market. This Shenzhen Electric A is really good, and it will start to double soon. Huh? This Hulight is good, and it will collapse soon. Tisk tisk tisk, this banker is too bad. He actually drew the K-line so beautifully. The leaks saw such a beautiful K-line, a perfect cross-star start line. I guess they will be buried alive if they rush in. Lin Feng analyzed while watching. With master-level capabilities, he only needs to click on the interface of a stock, and those K-lines, industry techniques, etc. will directly form a picture in Lin Feng's mind, as well as the profit ratio. It's really considerate. Master-level investment and financial management skills gave him extraordinary investment vision, and he accurately picked out several bull stocks that were about to double. Lin Feng wrote and drew on the selected stocks on paper. After a while of consideration, he chose a stock called Jinai Technology, which is currently priced at 5 yuan. Because this is only the stock that started the market the fastest among the many stocks selected by Lin Feng, he would make a profit first, and then invest the money earned together with the principal in other stocks. In this way, it is expected that his funds can be multiplied tenfold before the college entrance examination results come out. After the finalization, Lin Feng threw all the 1.5 million in his stock account into it at once. Lin Feng's 1.5 million suddenly threw in, which led to the lower market. Some people seemed to smell the blood and followed suit to buy in. The stock price of Jinai Technology rose by more than 1 point. Lin Feng smiled and closed the page. A few days later, when the stock price almost reached its highest point, just sell it in batches, so that it will not attract other people's attention. After doing all this, Lin Feng casually browsed the news on the internet to see if there were any good projects to invest in. After all, you can't always make money in the stock market. Although Lin Feng, who has master-level investment and financial management skills, has basically no possibility of losing money in the stock market, he has to keep an eye on the market, fearing that it will change at any time, which is too time-consuming. Besides, you still have to invest in some real businesses. Stocks are like a floating bubble. You don't know when it will burst. Lin Feng thought while browsing the news. Lin Feng felt speechless while reading. What is all this on the internet now? A page pops up at any time, and the content is "Do you want to get rich overnight? Then please join us." The following contact address and phone number are XXXXXX leisure clubs. There is also something like a real dealer. Click in, can turn it off. Lin Feng is a little helpless. The internet supervision during this period is still relatively loose. The internet world is a big dying shed, and everyone has died colorfully. Lin Feng suddenly remembered the bankruptcy of Quad on the late last life. It was a conscientious product that brought countless happiness to all male compatriots. After Quad went bankrupt in the last life, all male compatriots sighed that hundreds of millions of people owed Quad a membership. Lin Feng thought about investing in it in this life, saving Quad, providing a sky for the majority of male compatriots. But he shook his head soon. With the little money he had at present, it would not make a splash. Let's talk about it when there is a chance in the future. Lin Feng casually clicked on the web page in his memory and browsed it casually. It was the same as in his memory, the same familiarity, the same interface. Lin Feng didn't think much about it and opened a link at random. Plug in the headphones, Lin Feng started to enjoy it. Until Lin Feng finished watching the last one, he felt bored instantly. Sure enough, only the first one was the most enjoyable. Suddenly, a window popped up on the computer interface. Lin Feng glanced at it casually, and his heart was calm. Just as Lin Feng was about to close the web page, his father suddenly opened the door and came in, saying, "Smelly boy, eat." Oh. The two looked at each other in bewilderment. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. After a few seconds of silence, Lin Feng said faintly, "Dad, if I say that I accidentally opened it, would you believe it?" Lin Dashin was very upset at this time. This stinky boy. Lin Dashin looked at the computer screen, then at the tissue box on the table. He looked at Lin Feng with a complicated expression and slowly spoke. "We are all men, I understand. Okay, clean up and come out to wash your hands and eat." After saying that, he turned around and closed the door and left without waiting for Lin Feng to speak. While Lin Feng was in the room, he heard a faint murmur coming from the door. "My son has grown up." Lin Feng. Lin Feng's mood at the moment was indescribable, and he had to lock the door in the future. Lin Feng sorted out his emotions and his face returned to calm. A few minutes later, Lin Feng came out, washed his hands and ate. At the dinner table, Lin Dashan still looked at him with a strange look in his eyes, which made Lin Feng very embarrassed. After 2 lives, Lin Feng was already several dozen years older. Such things still made Lin Feng feel very embarrassed. Seeing the strange behavior between the two, Zhou Qilin, who was completely unaware of the situation, felt that the father and son were a little inexplicable. After Lin Feng took a few bites of rice in a hurry, he put down his bowl and said, "I'm full. I made an appointment with my classmates, so I have to go out." After that, he stood up, picked up the car keys on the coffee table, and quickly slipped away. Escape from this awkward atmosphere. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelists. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 883, Your Drool is All Over My Car. After leaving the house, Lin Feng ran downstairs in a flash. He walked straight to the parking lot, stepped on the accelerator to the bottom, and the Ferrari 488 roared out. After the car drove onto the street, Lin Feng came to his senses. He just came out like this, and it seemed that there was nowhere to go. He said just now that he had an appointment with his classmates, but it was just an excuse. Want to find Zhang Yuxi? Zhang Yuxi had called him last night to tell him her grandmother was not in good health, and she went back to her hometown in the countryside with her parents to visit her grandmother. Zhang Yuxi's hometown is a small county town about 300 or 400 kilometers away from Shanghai. Although the distance is not far, it would be embarrassing to go there by myself. How about find Lao Jing and the others to play games? Speaking of which, I haven't played games since I was reborn, and I haven't even been to an internet cafe since I was reborn. Do it right away. He slowly parked the car on the side of the road, turned on the double flash, and then took out his mobile phone and found Lao Jing Zhang Anmian's phone number from the phone book. Beep, beep, beep. You haven't answered the phone for so long, could it be that old Zhang is playing airplane? Just as Lin Feng was daydreaming, the phone was connected. Hello? Who is this? It's me, Lin Feng. Ah. It's Brother Feng, why are you calling me all of a sudden? We've only been apart for 2 days, do you miss me? Old Zhang Anmian said with a smile on the other end of the phone. Lin Feng was so annoyed, this old Zhang is still so mean. Miss you, idiot. Stop talking nonsense, are you free? Come out and play. Lin Feng said to the other end of the phone in a bad tone. Ah. Yes, I'm bored and reading a novel. Brother Feng, where are we going to play? Old Zhang Anmian said excitedly when he heard Lin Feng say that he wanted to go out and play. Anyway, I'm bored, let's go to the internet cafe to play a few games. Lin Feng said casually. Okay, then I'll invite Sun Yu and a few others, and we'll form a team to play. Old Zhang said excitedly. Sun Yu is Lin Feng's classmate, and they used to play together often. It's just that after Lin Feng was reborn, he has been obsessed with studying. The rest of the time he sticks with Zhang Yuxi, and the time they play together has become less. Okay, you decide. By the way, send me your home address and I'll pick you up. Lin Feng thought for a while and said. Ah. Brother Feng, you drove here. What car did you drive? When did you get your driver's license? You. Old Zhang Anmian asked a series of questions. Lin Feng felt that he was nagging, so he said. You'll know later. After that, he hung up the phone without giving Zhang Anmian time to react. After Lin Feng hung up the phone, he shook his head helplessly. This old Zhang really is. Ling. Zhang Anmian's location came. After Lin Feng took a look, he placed the phone on the center console. Then, step on the accelerator. Ferrari 488 roared like a beast. It disappeared in the street in an instant, leaving only the roar of the engine. Soon, Lin Feng drove the car to the gate of Jingxi Garden Community according to the address given by Zhang Yanmin. Oh my god. Lao Jiang is indeed a rich second generation. This Jingxi Garden is a villa garden community. There are rows of garden-style villas, and even the gate at the entrance of the community reveals a luxurious atmosphere. Lin Feng drove the car straight into the gate. Seeing Lin Feng driving this luxury sports car, the guard did not stop him and let him go directly. People who can afford sports cars are people who can't afford to offend in the eyes of the guards. Lin Feng drove the car to the door of Lao Jiang's house according to the address sent by Lao Jiang. Oh my god. Is Lao Jiang's family so cruel? It's a single-family villa? I have to cheat him hard later. Lin Feng thought to himself. After stopping the car, Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and dialed Lao Zhang Anmin's number. Soon, the call was connected. Hello, I'm here, come down quickly. Lin Feng said lightly to the phone. Okay, I'll be right there. Zhang Anmin replied hurriedly. Lin Feng had just put down the phone, and within 2 minutes, he saw his deskmate, Lao Zhang Anmin, running over from the car window in fancy clothes. Fuck. Lao Zhang shouted before he even got close. He ran to the car in 2 or 3 steps, looking excited. Brother Feng. Awesome. This car looks so cool. Also, this color is so sexy. I like it so much. Lao Zhang Anmin gently stroked the car body, as if he was stroking a woman's body, with an intoxicated look on his face. Lin Feng. After being silent for dozens of seconds, Lin Feng looked at Lao Zhang with a frown on his face. Zhang Anmin actually hugged the car body and kissed it. Lin Feng trembled all over and looked at him in disbelief. After a full minute, Lao Zhang Anmin was still intoxicated. Lin Feng really couldn't stand it. Hey, old Zhang. Wake up. Your saliva is about to flow into my car. Lin Feng said unhappily. Oh, slurp. Old Zhang Anmin finally sucked his saliva and woke up from his own world. He touched the back of his head awkwardly and said with a chuckle. Sorry, Brother Feng, I can't help it. He. Okay, stop talking nonsense. Get in the car. Lin Feng rolled his eyes at him. Okay. Old Zhang Anmin smiled and hurriedly went around to the passenger seat, opened the door and sat in. Oh hiss. The seat of this sports car is so comfortable to sit in. Old Zhang Anmin looked like he was enjoying it. Lin Feng looked at him like that and said with a look of disgust. If you make that kind of noise again, I'll kick you down. Oh, Brother Feng, don't do that, I can't help it. It's really your car, I love it so much, I can't help it when I see it. By the way, Brother Feng, where did you get this car? Your dad is so good to you, he bought you this car right after the college entrance examination. Old Zhang Anmin said to Lin Feng with envy. Oh. I bought this car myself. Lin Feng glanced at him and said lightly. Huh? What? Oil K order me. Zhang Anmin said in his poor English. Brother Feng. Where did you get the money from? Of course I earned it, otherwise I could have robbed someone. Lin Feng said angrily. Zhang Anmin, this. Zhang Anmin still couldn't believe it. Lin Feng glanced at him and didn't bother to explain. Fasten your seatbelt quickly and get going. After saying that, he stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. The Ferrari 488 roared and jumped forward, scaring Zhang Anmin to quickly grab the seatbelt and fasten it. With a roar of the engine, the Ferrari 488 quickly drove out of the community and flew towards the internet cafe. Chapter 884 God of Wealth. Half an hour later, the two arrived at the entrance of the internet cafe. After Lin Feng parked the car, he walked directly into the internet cafe. Here. As soon as the two entered, they saw Sun Yu shouting in front of a computer not far away and waving at them. When they walked over, they heard Sun Yu complaining. Why did you come just now? We have finished a game. Sorry, there was a traffic jam on the road. Zhang Anmin said a little embarrassedly. Because just now he insisted that Lin Feng take him a long way around, saying that he wanted to experience the taste of a sports car, but he ended up taking a road with serious traffic jams. The traffic jam lasted for a long time, and he didn't enjoy the taste of a sports car, but he did experience the taste of a traffic jam. Lin Feng then saw that in addition to Sun Yu, there were 2 other boys in the class. Lin Feng nodded slightly to them and gestured. At this time, Zhang Anmin, the old ginger, said to Lin Feng. Brother Feng, you sit down first, I'll turn on the computer, and then buy some snacks and drinks for everyone. After that, he ran to the counter. After a while, he came back with a bunch of snacks. After putting the snacks down, Zhang Anman mysteriously took out a pack of Hongho cigarettes from his pocket. After tearing it open, he distributed it to everyone. "Brother Feng, want one?" Zhang Anman said to Lin Feng. After Lin Feng reached out to take it, Zhang Anman quickly lit it for him. Pop. Inhale, exhale. Lin Feng blew a smoke ring skillfully. "Oh, Brother Feng, this trick is good," Zhang Anman and others said. In fact, Lin Feng smoked in his previous life. One was because of Zhang Yuxi's matter, and the other was because of the major changes in his family. He was decadent every day. Before he went to college, he always had cigarettes with him, and he was extremely decadent. In this new life, he has never smoked. After all, good times are waiting for him, and he still needs a good body to enjoy them. Cigarettes, if you say it's good, it hurts your body. If you say it's bad, it can bring you a little comfort when you are worried and melancholy. The reason why Lin Feng took the cigarette from Zhang Anman was because he felt that it would be a bit lacking if he didn't smoke a cigarette when he came to the internet cafe. When several people saw Lin Feng smoking, they lit up and started puffing. Ahem. A boy was choking a few times when he smoked for the first time, and everyone laughed. Then several people entered the game, and for a while, there were shouts and cheers. Call of Duty, this is the hottest and most popular shooting game at the moment. Several people teamed up to sweep all the way. After playing several games, Zhang Anman shouted loudly. No, no. I haven't played for a long time, I feel dizzy. Take a break, take a break. Then several people lit a cigarette, ate snacks and started chatting. Brother Feng, how is the college entrance examination this time? Can you get full marks? Zhang Anman asked Lin Feng. Sun Yu and the other two were also curious. After all, in the last city-wide unified examination, Lin Feng silently shocked everyone. Several people were curious about whether he could create glory again. Well, it's okay. I have a certain degree of confidence, but we still have to wait and see how the scores come out. It's too early to say now. Lin Feng exhaled a puff of smoke and said casually. Awesome. Seeing Lin Feng say this, it is likely that he is sure to win. Because Lin Feng is a person who always keeps his word. Several people envied him. Then everyone started talking about the upcoming college life, imagining how it would be at that time. Just then, not far from Lin Feng and the others, a man dressed as a social youth threw his headphones on the computer desktop and cursed. Fuck. Lost again, what kind of shit luck is this today? You can die like this. The attention of several people was attracted. Lin Feng took a look and he had some impression of this person in his previous life. This person was from the community where his family lived. He stopped studying early and just wandered around in the society. He was idle all day long and wanted to learn to be a big brother. In his previous life, it was said that he won the lottery and became a rich man from a small gangster. He bought a Mercedes-Benz and drove it out to pick up girls and gamble every day. In the end, he squandered all the winnings and owed millions of usury. Finally, he ran away. Lin Feng thought about it and it seemed that this man won the lottery in these few days. Interesting, who doesn't like to get rich from heaven? Lin Feng decided to follow him and see when he went to buy lottery tickets. He would take the opportunity to buy them and make a fortune. Anyway, no one would complain about money. If you don't take the windfall, you will shorten your life. The look in Lin Feng's eyes at this moment was like seeing the god of wealth. At this time, the young man also found that Lin Feng was looking at him. So he glared at Lin Feng and cursed. What are you looking at, you little bastard? Believe it or not, I will beat you up. Lin Feng was not angry, he smiled, and walked over with the remaining pack of cigarettes and bottle of drink on Zhang Anman's desk. He took out a cigarette and handed it to the young man, smiling. Brother, why are you making such a fuss? Come and have some water and a cigarette. The young man was a little confused by Lin Feng's action. He took the water and cigarette handed over by Lin Feng in a daze. As the saying goes, you should not hide a smiling person. After Lin Feng's action, he couldn't scold him anymore. He said with some doubts. Brother, do we know each other? Oh, I know you. We live in the same community and have met before. Lin Feng said casually. Oh, so, I was wondering why you look familiar. The man said. If you have any trouble in the future, tell me. My name's Zhang Hu. No one dares to touch you. The man named Zhang Hu said while smoking a cigarette. Okay, then thank you, Brother Hu. Lin Feng said with a smile. It's okay, we are all brothers. Zhang Hu waved his hand and said. After chatting for a few more words, Lin Feng came back. As soon as he sat down, Zhang Anmin said in a low voice. Brother Feng, do you know that little gangster? Why do you want to please him? Yet, I've met him once. Lin Feng said casually. This is the god of wealth, and Lin Feng is counting on him to make a fortune. Oh. Seeing that Lin Feng didn't explain much, Zhang Anmin and the others didn't ask any more questions and continued to fight in the game. Not long after, Zhang Hu stood up and was about to leave. Lin Feng's heart moved, so he asked. Brother Hu, are you leaving so soon? Zhang Hu saw that it was Lin Feng, so he spoke. This is fucking, I don't know what happened today, I lost every time, I was shot in the head every time, and I don't know what bad luck I have. I don't want to play anymore, I don't want to play anymore, I'm going to buy 2 lottery tickets to change my luck. After saying that, Zhang Hu waved at Lin Feng and turned away. Huh? When Lin Feng heard him say that he was going to buy lottery tickets, his eyes lit up. He didn't show any emotion in his heart, and told Zhang Anmin and the others that he had something to do and left first. Zhang Anmin and his friends were having a great time playing games, so they didn't pay much attention to it. After a few words, they continued playing games. Lin Feng quietly left the internet cafe and followed Zhang Hu, the god of wealth. Chapter 885 Respecting the Fate of Others. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Hu's figure at the corner of the street and walked up quickly. Brother Hu. Lin Feng shouted at Zhang Hu's back. Zhang Hu heard someone calling him, turned around and looked at Lin Feng who was walking quickly. Hey, it's you? Why don't you play anymore? Zhang Hu asked in confusion. Well, I don't play anymore, I'm bored, I came out to get some fresh air. Lin Feng said casually. Oh, so, let's go together, I'll go buy a lottery ticket, and then go home. Zhang Hu said casually without thinking too much. That's great, but my family has moved to King East Road now, and we don't live there anymore. Lin Feng lied, he was afraid that if he really won the jackpot, Zhang Hu would have a change of heart. It's okay, we'll go our separate ways later, anyway, you're fine, just go and see it. Zhang Hu said casually. The two walked and talked. Zhang Hu kept bragging to Lin Feng about how many big guys he knew and how awesome he was. Lin Feng also kept nodding to cater to him. Soon the two of them walked to the welfare lottery shop. As soon as they walked into the door of the lottery shop, Zhang Hu shouted loudly. Boss, give me a lottery ticket. I'm so unlucky today. Let's change my luck. Okay, it's you, kid. Pick 5 bets as usual. The boss said with a smile. Yet, Lin Feng watched from the side. It was estimated that Zhang Hu often bought lottery tickets and was familiar with the boss. Zhang Hu handed over 10 yuan and took a lottery ticket from the boss. Then he saw Lin Feng staring at the lottery ticket in his hand with curiosity, so he said. Why, you also want to buy 2 bets? Yet, I do have some ideas, but, brother Hu, how do I buy this? Lin Feng pretended to ask. Then Zhang Hu took a lottery ticket and explained it to Lin Feng. 2 minutes later, Lin Feng looked as if he had suddenly realized something. He looked at Zhang Hu and said, Brother Hu, I think the number in your hand is good. Can I buy one? Zhang Hu heard Lin Feng say that the number he bought was good. He was also happy in his heart, so he handed the lottery ticket to Lin Feng and said, Sure, no problem, just take it and buy another one. After Lin Feng took a lottery ticket, he turned around and handed it to the boss. Boss, help me make another one based on this one, make it 100 times. Lin Feng said casually. Little brother, are you sure you want to make it 100 times? Let me tell you, Zhang Hu buys it often, but he never wins. Your 100 times is 1,000 yuan, and this 1,000 yuan is probably like throwing it into the sea. Are you sure? Well, make it, I think brother Hu's number is good. If you don't win, just treat it as a charity, a good deed, it's okay. Lin Feng said calmly. Not only the boss was surprised, but even Zhang Hu was shocked by Lin Feng. He hurriedly pulled Lin Feng over and said, Brother, you are playing a little too big, I don't have confidence myself, just bullshit just now. It's okay, brother Hu, it's just 1,000 yuan, if you don't win, just treat it as a donation. Lin Feng said casually. Oh. Zhang Hu didn't know what to say now. Lin Feng turned to the boss and said, Boss, please give me the ticket. He took out 1,000 yuan from his wallet and handed it to the boss. The boss didn't say anything more. Anyway, The money belonged to Lin Feng. If he bought more, he could make more money. He quickly gave the ticket to Lin Feng. After getting the ticket, Lin Feng returned Zhang Hu's original ticket to him, and the two walked out of the lottery shop. Brother, don't tell me, I'm telling you. This 1,000 yuan is probably a waste. Why buy this thing? Save it to buy a pack of Zhang Hu cigarettes, isn't it? Zhang Hu said with some pity for Lin Feng. It's okay, brother Hu. Anyway, this money is not much. Just treat it as doing something good. And I think the number brother Hu bought this time is very similar to the number of the jackpot. Think about it, if I win, I will become a rich man in an instant, haha. Lin Feng said with a smile. Zhang Hu shook his head. How could it be possible? He has been buying for several years and has never won a single cent. Lin Feng suddenly remembered the ending of Zhang Hu after he won the lottery in his previous life, and spoke up. Brother Hu, if you really win the lottery, what do you want to do with the money? If I really win the lottery, I will buy a Mercedes-Benz and drive it every day, so that those who usually look down on me will be envious and jealous, and then I will pick up girls, eat, drink and have fun. Zhang Hu said with a longing expression. Oh, isn't this the trajectory of Zhang Hu's previous life? If he continues like this, he will probably end up running away with a lot of debts. Lin Feng spoke up out of kindness. Brother Hu, I think if you really win the lottery, you should keep a low profile. Use the money in a planned way, do some small business, and live comfortably. Zhang Hu smiled and said, let's talk about it when you really win. It's bullshit to say these things now. Seeing this, Lin Feng didn't say anything else. After all, they met once, and this is all he can do. As for whether he listened or not, that was his business. Respect the fate of others. After walking for a while, Zhang Hu was going to walk towards Lin Feng's residential area, while Lin Feng pretended to walk in the opposite direction, towards King East Road. So the two parted ways at the intersection. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Hu's gradually disappearing back and shook his head. He had already kindly reminded him, but as for whether Zhang Hu listened or not, there was nothing he could do. Then Lin Feng walked towards the internet cafe, picked up the car, and drove home. At 9:30 in the evening, Lin Feng was waiting in front of the TV, waiting for the live broadcast of the lottery draw. At this time, Lin Dashan had just come out of the shower and was wiping his hair. He saw Lin Feng holding a piece of paper and staring at the TV. He asked curiously, "Smelly boy, what are you doing?" Lin Feng looked up at his father and said casually, "Oh, I passed by the lottery shop today and bought a ticket to see if I won the prize." Lin Dashan looked at Lin Feng and said speechlessly, "Are you dreaming? How can it be so easy to win?" "Well, it's hard to say. What if you really win?" Lin Feng said casually. "You are talking nonsense." Lin Dashan sat down and lit a cigarette. Lin Feng looked at Lin Dashan, who was puffing, and said, "Dad, let's make a bet. If you really win the jackpot, you will quit smoking. Do you dare to bet?" If you really win the jackpot, I dare to quit." Lin Dashan said with some disdain. "Okay, you said it yourself." Lin Feng said with a slight smile. "Haha, I said it. It's really so easy for you to win, unless you are the child of destiny," Lin Dashan said firmly. At this time, the lottery draw started on TV. Lin Feng watched the first ball fall and it matched. Then the second one matched up, and the third, fourth, fifth. Chapter 886, 500 million grand prize. Soon, all the numbers were announced. There was a lottery ticket in Lin Feng's hand, and all the numbers matched. He really won. So, today is really the day when Zhang Hu won the jackpot in his previous life. What a coincidence. Lin Feng smiled. Seeing Lin Feng smile, Lin Dashan thought to himself, could it be that he really won? Do you really need to quit smoking? Quickly light a cigarette to calm down. Seeing him like this, Lin Feng handed him the lottery ticket. Lin Dashan looked at the numbers on the lottery ticket, and then looked at the winning numbers being broadcast on TV, and his hands couldn't help shaking. Fuck. I really won the jackpot. Huh? You actually bought 1,000 yuan? Brat, how much money did you win? Lin Dashan said excitedly, with a slight tremor in his voice. Well, I don't know yet, but 100 times, after deducting taxes, I guess there will be 400 to 500 million. Lin Feng was also a little excited. 400 to 500 million. This morning, in order to multiply his savings several times, he was working hard to study stocks. Now, I don't have to do anything, I'm a billionaire. Lin Dashin muttered. 4 or 500 million. How much money does this have to be? He won the lottery the first time he bought it. Could it be that this stinky boy Lin Feng is really the child of destiny? Question mark? Son, I can't do it anymore. Before I quit smoking, please allow me to smoke a cigarette to calm down. As he said this, Lin Dashin's hands trembled and he lit a cigarette for a long time. Huh? Lin Dashin took a deep puff of the cigarette and then spit it out. A few hundred million. He was really scared. Just when Lin Feng and his son were excited, Zhou Qilin also came out of the shower. She looked at the father and son sitting on the sofa without saying a word, while Lin Dashin was smoking fiercely. She frowned and scolded Lin Dashin. Old Lin, what's wrong with you? The whole hall is filled with smoke, it's suffocating. Lin Dashin slowly raised his head and looked straight at his wife, his lips trembling slightly, and opened with difficulty. Wife, if I say we are about to become billionaires, would you believe it? Zhou Qilin was speechless and looked at Lin Dashin. I say, Lao Lin, it's late at night, what are you daydreaming about? Wife, take a look yourself. He handed the lottery ticket to Zhou Qilin. After Zhou Qilin took the lottery ticket, she was confused. She didn't know how to read it. My son won several hundred million. Lin Dashin was a little excited and incoherent. Lin Feng looked at it, shook his head, and said with a smile. Dad, let me tell you. Well, Mom, it's like this. I bought a lottery ticket today, which is the lottery ticket in your hand. I won the first prize. I bought 100 times. I estimate that after deducting taxes, I can still get a bonus of 400 to 500 million. As soon as Lin Feng finished speaking, Zhou Qilin was so scared that she threw the lottery ticket in her hand away. Then she immediately picked it up and held it tightly in her hand, looking very nervous. Seeing that his mother was so nervous, she was squeezing the lottery ticket tightly, and it was about to break. He said with a wry smile. Mom, calm down, if you squeeze the lottery ticket again, it will break. Huh? Zhou Qilin came to her senses and quickly put the lottery ticket down. After the family of three discussed, Lin Dashin and Lin Feng, father and son, would go to the province to redeem the lottery ticket tomorrow. After that, the scene fell into silence. Lin Dashin and Zhou Qilin, the couple, couldn't sleep all night, they were too excited. Early the next morning, Lin Dashin, with panda eyes, knocked on Lin Feng's door. Lin Feng rubbed his eyes, looked out the window and saw that it was still dark. He smiled helplessly. Dad, what time is it now? Lin Dashin said excitedly. I can't sleep. It's 5:30. It's not too early. Hurry up and wash up. I'll drive you to the province to redeem the lottery. The sooner it's done, the sooner I'll feel at ease. Lin Feng had no choice but to change his clothes and wash up. After washing up, the two went down to the parking lot. Seeing that his father, Lin Dashin, kept yawning, how could he dare to let him drive? So the two got on Lin Feng's Ferrari 488, and Lin Feng drove. This was the first time that Lin Dashin sat in Lin Feng's Ferrari 488. He was full of curiosity and touched the decorations inside the car. Then he looked up at Lin Feng and said, Son, after you redeem the lottery, what do you think about your dad buying me a sports car? Oh, if you're not afraid that your mother will break your legs, just buy it. I have no objection. Lin Feng glanced at Lin Dashin and said jokingly, Lin Dashin. Then Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator. Boom. The engine of the Ferrari 488 roared, and soon they left the parking lot. Lin Feng followed a navigation and got on the highway. Soon they arrived at the Provincial Welfare Lottery Center, and everything went smoothly and the formalities were completed in a few seconds. After deducting taxes, the prize money was 432 million yuan. Lin Dashin was numb. Then, Lin Feng and Lin Dashin took the check issued by the lottery center and went to the designated bank to complete the deposit procedures. The prize redemption trip was successfully completed. Just wait for the bank to transfer the money to the account. Huh? Lin Dashin took a deep breath at this time, and then he relaxed a little. Son, we have become billionaires now. Lin Dashin said in disbelief. Yes. Lin Feng smiled and nodded. Hiss. Several hundred million. I've lived for most of my life and I've never seen so much money. We will be considered upper class and successful people in the future. Let's go, son. Let's go home, pick up your mother, and go out for a meal as a family of three to celebrate. Lin Feng looked at his father who was as happy as a child and smiled. There was nothing he could do. Anyone who picked up a few $100 million for nothing would probably laugh his teeth off. After the two got on the car, they started their return journey. Lin Feng hadn't slept all night last night. Now he was relieved after redeeming the prize. He relaxed and fell asleep deeply in the car when he got on the highway. Lin Feng looked at his father, smiled, turned down the music in the car, played a soothing light music, accelerated, and headed towards the direction of the Magic City. At the same time, the entire Magic City was flooded with news that a lottery jackpot of more than 500 million yuan fell into the Magic City. This news caused a huge uproar in the entire Magic City. Countless people were curious about the winner of the grand prize and were extremely envious. More than 500 million, this is something that many ordinary people cannot achieve in their lifetime. Reporters from various TV stations came to the lottery shop where the prize was won for an interview. Later, people learned that this lottery shop won two groups of grand prizes at the same time. One group won more than 5 million, and the other group won the more than 500 million grand prize. When the reporter interviewed, the owner of the welfare lottery shop was also very excited. He didn't dare to imagine that such a big prize would appear in his lottery shop. When the reporter asked if he knew the information of the winners, although the owner of the lottery shop knew that one group of more than 5 million was won by Zhang Hu, and the other group was won by Lin Feng who was traveling with Zhang Hu, he did not disclose the specific information of the winners, which was still professional ethics. He just said that the winner of more than 5 million was a familiar customer of the store, who had never won a prize before, and the winner of the more than 500 million grand prize was a young man who came to buy lottery tickets for the first time. Everyone was shocked when they heard it. Winning more than 500 million for the first time buying lottery tickets, what kind of fairy luck is this? Afterwards, this welfare lottery shop became a pilgrimage site for nearby residents, and many people came to buy a few lottery tickets, hoping to get a chance to win the grand prize. In the days that followed, the business of this lottery shop became more and more prosperous. The boss also made a lot of money and drove a BMW car. The boss was still very grateful to Zhang Hu and Lin Feng. Of course, this is a later story. Since Lin Feng separated from Zhang Hu that day, he has never seen Zhang Hu again. Maybe he went to squander money everywhere, or maybe he listened to Lin Feng's advice and went to do small business in another place. And there is no way to know all this. Chapter 887, I simply love my wife. Just when the whole Magic City was curious about who the grand prize winner was, Lin Feng had already returned home, sitting on the sofa, happily eating the apple peeled by his mother Juggling. Originally, Lin Feng was thinking about going out to a restaurant with his family of 3 for a big meal, but Juggling said that the food outside was not hygienic enough and it was not convenient to talk. So the couple went out to the vegetable market to buy vegetables. Only Lin Feng was left alone at home, watching TV boredly. Lin Feng was watching TV absent-mindedly, thinking in his mind about how to develop with more than 400 million yuan. More than 400 million yuan, money that most people can't earn in their entire lives. He had it right after the college entrance examination. Does this count as an invincible start? You must start a business during college, but you still have to think carefully about what to do specifically. Although there are several 100 million yuan, you can't just do it casually. Forget it, don't think about it for now. It's time to start the next travel plan. Otherwise, I'm going to be bored at home for the 2 months of summer vacation. Going out to travel, see the scenery, experience the customs of various places, and feel the great rivers and mountains of the motherland is also a good choice. After all, if you really want to start a business in the future, such time will basically become a luxury. If you go on a trip, Sichuan Tibet is not bad. The endless uninhabited area, the blue sky, and the snow-capped mountains that never melt can purify people's souls. Lin Feng has always wanted to go, but he didn't have time to go in the previous life. If you take this opportunity to make up for this regret, it would not be bad. If you go there, it would be a good idea to travel by car. For self-driving tours, Lin Feng's own Ferrari 488 is not suitable. Anyway, it's not bad to spend this little money, so take some time to buy a car tomorrow. And traveling, of course, can't be done alone. The scenery along the way is beautiful. If there's no one to share it with you, wouldn't it be a pity? Isn't it beautiful to travel for 2 people? Well, Lin Feng swears that this is definitely not an excuse for him to be alone with Zhang Yuxi. It is really a pure solo trip, with no one to share the beautiful scenery along the way. Well, that's it. Whether you believe it or not, Lin Feng believed it himself. It's been a few days since I last saw Zhang Yuxi. Lin Feng missed her a little, and missed her cute little appearance. He did it right away. Lin Feng picked up the mobile phone on the table and called Zhang Yuxi. Beep, beep. What is this girl busy with? She didn't answer the phone for so long. Lin Feng muttered softly. After a while, the call was connected. Hello, Lin Feng. Zhang Yuxi's gentle voice sounded on the phone. Wife, what are you doing? Why did you answer the phone so long ago? Lin Feng said with a smile. I'm in the field. I was helping Grandma plant rice just now. My hands are dirty. I washed my hands before answering the phone. Zhang Yuxi explained gently. Oh, it's okay. My wife can actually do farm work. Lin Feng asked with a smile. That's right, she can do a lot. Zhang Yuxi said proudly. At this moment, Lin Feng could imagine the proud and complacent expression on Zhang Yuxi's exquisite and beautiful little face. He couldn't help but smile. Then he said softly, Yuxi, when will you come back? Hearing Lin Feng's words, Zhang Yuxi was silent. She hadn't seen Lin Feng for a few days, and she missed him very much. Then she said softly, I don't know yet. Grandma's health is not very good. Mom asked me to accompany her more. The two were silent. Lin Feng looked at the gardenias blooming outside the window. The breeze was blowing and the faint fragrance of flowers was everywhere. An emotion surged in Lin Feng's heart. He said softly, the gardenias on the street are blooming. Wife, please come back slowly. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Zhang Yuxi on the other end of the phone also felt a surge of longing in her heart. She said softly and tenderly, Lin Feng, I miss you. Yuxi, I miss you too. After the two chatted for a few more minutes, someone called Zhang Yuxi, and she had to hang up the phone reluctantly. Lin Feng, wait for me. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Yuxi held the phone and whispered in a voice that only she could hear. After Lin Feng hung up the phone, he was silent for a while holding the phone. Passive waiting is not Lin Feng's character. Lin Feng decided to give Zhang Yuxi a surprise after buying the car. Click. At this time, the door opened, and Lin Dashan and Juggling came in with a lot of things. Dad, Mom, you are back. Lin Feng shouted, and hurriedly got up to help pick up the things. Smelly boy, you have a good meal tonight. Your mother bought all kinds of seafood, even 3 big lobsters. Lin Dashan looked at Lin Feng and smiled. It doesn't matter whether it's lobster or not, the main thing is that my mother's cooking is delicious. Lin Feng flattered. Juggling showed a happy smile on her face. Then, my father and mother went into the kitchen and got busy. Dingling clang. In the kitchen, there were constant sounds of cutting vegetables and chopping meat. Soon, in the kitchen, there were bursts of food fragrance. Lin Feng smelled the fragrance and felt his appetite was opened. About an hour later, all the dishes were ready. Lin Feng hurried to help serve them. He couldn't help but secretly eat along the way. Juggling saw it and scolded with a smile, you are so old, and you are still like this. After the 3 of them sat down, Lin Feng couldn't help but eat heartily. This taste is amazing. It's definitely not flattery, it's just that his mother's cooking is so delicious. Juggling saw Lin Feng swallowing voraciously, and couldn't help but say, Son, eat slowly, don't choke, ? What the hell, Mom, it's so good. Lin Feng puffed his cheeks and said incoherently. Then he continued to eat with his head down. Juggling couldn't help shaking her head and smiling when she saw him like this. After eating and drinking, Lin Feng and Lin Dashan, father and son, burped at the same time, and then smiled at each other. Afterwards, Lin Feng helped to clean up the tableware, and then sat on the sofa to chat. Lin Dashan was eating oranges, and suddenly asked Lin Feng with a serious face. Son, you suddenly have such a large sum of money, what are you going to do? Juggling also looked at Lin Feng seriously. With such a large sum of money suddenly, they were afraid that Lin Feng would not be able to resist the temptation and become a playboy, and his life would be ruined. Lin Feng saw his parents looking at him seriously. After thinking for a while, he spoke slowly with a serious face. Dad, Mom, here's my plan. I plan to start my own business during college. I originally wanted to make some money from other places as startup capital for my business, but now that I have this bonus, I don't have to go through so much trouble. I can start my own business right from college. Of course, starting a business doesn't require so much money. Doesn't Dad want to expand his advertising company with the rest of the money? In that case, Dad, I will allocate 100 million to you at that time. With this money, you can go ahead and do what you want. Then, I will allocate another sum of money to Mom to save. Well, just treat it as a way out for our family. Even if Dad and I fail, our family can still live a carefree life. Of course, it's impossible for me to fail, because I'm the child of destiny, Dad, right? By the way, Mom, you should quit that job, grow some flowers every day, and live a leisurely life. In the future, leave the money making for this family to me and Dad. Well, if you really feel bored, you can learn about the housing prices and then buy a few houses. The housing prices will definitely go up in the future, and buying a house has a very good appreciation rate. Lin Feng talked about a series of arrangements. Lin Dashan and Juggling looked at each other. Their son had really grown up and had his own ideas. The two of them asked about Lin Feng's bonus, not because they were greedy for Lin Feng's money or anything. Why did they need so much money? Besides, they worked so hard to make money for Lin Feng. After all, they only had Lin Feng as their son. The couple was silent for a while. Juggling spoke slowly. Son, your father and I will not interfere too much with your use of this money. You can start a business in college, but you must not fall behind in your studies. You must get your diploma back for me. I don't want others to say that my son is an uneducated nouveau riche in the future. Mom, I understand, don't worry. Lin Feng replied softly. He naturally knew that his mother was doing it for his own good. Also, it's time to bring my daughter-in-law back to see me. By the way, now that you have money, you can't become bad and let her down. Otherwise, I won't forgive you. Juggling warned Lin Feng fiercely. Lin Feng gave a bitter smile. This mother has not even met her daughter-in-law yet, but she has already started to defend her. Who is the biological daughter? I guess I will suffer from this in the future. There is nothing I can do. Who told me to love my wife like my father does? Lin Feng and his father Lin Dashan looked at each other, and both of them showed a hint of bitter smile in their eyes. The family status in the future will be worrying. Lin Feng and Lin Dashan will never admit that they are afraid of their wives. They love their wives. As a man, how can he really be afraid of his wife? It is simply because he loves his wife. Yes, that's it, that's right. After finishing the business, the family of three started chatting. The scene was harmonious and full of joy. Chapter 888 Mercedes-Benz G-Class. The next day, the sun had just risen. After getting up, Lin Feng washed up and had a leisurely breakfast. Then he turned on the computer and logged into the stock software. At this time, the price of Jinai Technology stock had risen to 6 yuan, and it had been rising for 2 consecutive days. After reading it, Lin Feng smiled and turned off the software. The stock price is far from being sold. Let's check it again in a few days. Lin Feng had nothing to do and opened the Cub website again, and randomly found a movie to watch. This time Lin Feng learned his lesson. He locked the door, plugged in headphones and enjoyed it. After watching a movie, Lin Feng cleaned up. Ding ding. Lin Feng's mobile phone text message notification sounded. He picked up the phone casually and saw that it turned out that the 423 million after-tax bonus from Fuke had arrived. Lin Feng smiled slightly. He came at the right time. In this case, he would go out to look at cars, get the car thing done as soon as possible, and then go to give Zhang Yuxi a surprise. Lin Feng turned off the computer, took his things, and went down to the underground parking lot. Open the car door. Sit in. Start the engine. Boom. With the roar of the engine, the sassy Ferrari 488 drove to the 4S store. 20 minutes later, Lin Feng's Ferrari 488 stopped in front of the largest car 4S store in Shanghai. The salesperson saw Lin Feng park his car, his eyes lit up, and he quickly came to greet him. Welcome. Hello, sir, do you want to see the car? Yes. Lin Feng replied indifferently. Then, the salesperson respectfully welcomed Lin Feng in. Hello, sir, what is your name? My last name is Lin. Lin Feng said indifferently. Mr. Lin, what type of car do you want to buy? The salesperson looked at Lin Feng and said humbly. Well, do you have any good off-road vehicles? Lin Feng asked casually. Mr. Lin, we have several popular off-road models in the world, such as Land Rover Defender, Jeep Wrangler, Hummer H2, Mercedes-Benz G-Class, etc. I wonder which one you would like to see, Mr. Lin. The car salesperson introduced in detail. Well, let's take a look at them all. Lin Feng said. Okay, Mr. Lin, please come this way. After the salesperson finished speaking, he took Lin Feng to the exhibition hall. The one in front of you now is the Hummer H2. It has a powerful 6.2 lv Type 8-speed naturally aspirated engine. The Hummer H2 is ranked first among the top 10 pure off-road vehicles. The impression left by the Hummer off-road vehicle is that it is indestructible and invincible in off-road. That's right. The Hummer H2 has very good off-road performance and climbing ability. It is well deserved to be the first pure off-road vehicle. The salesperson talked freely. Lin Feng looked at the black Hummer H2 in front of him. The appearance looked very domineering. Men should like this type of car very much. However, its body and interior are very simple and tough. If a man is going on a long-distance self-driving tour, it is okay for him to sit in it, but it will probably be uncomfortable for a woman to sit in it for a long time. After all, Lin Feng is planning to go on a self-driving tour with Zhang Yuxi, so it is not appropriate to drive this car. Lin Feng thought for a while and then spoke. Is there a car with strong power and a slightly more comfortable ride? If it is powerful and comfortable to drive, Mr. Lin, I suggest you take a look at the Mercedes-Benz G500 and the Toyota Land Cruiser. These two cars have very exquisite interiors while being powerful, and they also take into account the driving comfort. The car salesperson recommended seriously. Lin Feng knew that the Mercedes-Benz G was hyped by those internet celebrities on a certain audio platform in his previous life, saying that it was a car exclusively for scumbags, and they drove it every day to flirt with girls. It was originally a good off-road vehicle, but it had to be made into something weird. But it is indeed good looking, and Lin Feng admits this. Okay, then take a look at those two models. Lin Feng thought for a while and said. Okay, Mr. Lin, please come with me. The car salesperson said respectfully. Lin Feng followed her to the back of the showroom, and the first thing that came into view was the Mercedes-Benz G500. The black exterior and tough lines really attracted everyone's attention. Mr. Lin, this is the Mercedes-Benz G500 produced by Mercedes-Benz. Except for the AMG modified G-Class, G55 AMG, the Mercedes-Benz G500 is considered the flagship model of the Mercedes-Benz G-Series. This pure off-road vehicle is equipped with Mercedes-Benz's latest generation 5.01 V8 engine, with a maximum power of 216 kW/5,500 RPM and a maximum torque of 456 Nm/2,800-4,000 RPM. The mechanical supercharger enables it to burst out 80% of the maximum torque at nearly 1,800 revolutions per minute. Coupled with a ladder beam non-independent suspension and the 3 differential locks of the front, middle and rear axles, all 100% locked, the G500 has a strong passing ability. However, this does not mean that the road performance of this car is lost. When pushing a nearly 3-ton body, it still has a good result of 0 to 100 km/h acceleration of 10.2 seconds. In addition, the interior is also luxurious, so you don't feel that this is a pure off-road vehicle. The car salesperson introduced some basic information about the G500 in one breath, and Lin Feng felt excited just by listening. In short, this Mercedes-Benz G500 is a luxury off-road vehicle that can be driven in the desert and can be used to show off in the city. No wonder those so-called internet celebrities in the previous life all like to show off at the Mercedes-Benz G. It is indeed really good. The car salesperson is also a smart person. Lin Feng can drive a Ferrari worth millions, and you can tell at a glance that he is not short of money. Seeing that Lin Feng is a little moved, she can also get a lot of commission if she can really make this deal, so she said. Mr. Lin, you can go up and drive it yourself to feel it. Yes. The car salesperson immediately opened the door for Lin Feng. After Lin Feng got in the car, the seat was indeed okay. It was not as hard and creamy as the Hummer H2 just now, but compared with his own sports car, it was indeed not a little bit worse. Lin Feng inserted the key and started the ignition. He stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. Boom. The V8 engine roared wildly, and the sound sounded good, with plenty of horsepower. Seeing this, the car salesperson immediately sat in the co-pilot seat and said, Mr. Lin, we can go out for a lap and try the driving feeling. Hearing the car salesperson say this, Lin Feng was not polite. He stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. The Mercedes-Benz G500 roared, and the master-level car driving skills allowed Lin Feng to control it with ease. The car drove out of the exhibition hall quickly and onto the road. Seeing that there were not many people on the road to the car 4S shop, Lin Feng accelerated. After a lap, the driving experience was indeed good, and the seat was also okay, so he drove the car back to the 4S shop. After turning off the engine and getting out of the car, Lin Feng nodded. Then he said to the car salesperson, "Is the Toyota Land Cruiser a car made by the Japanese?" "Oh, Mr. Lin, that Toyota Land Cruiser is indeed made in Japan, but the quality is very good, unlike ordinary cars. Do you want to take a look?" the car salesperson said with embarrassment. Lin Feng waved his hand and said lightly, "I hate the Japanese the most, no need to take a look." Oh. The car salesperson felt disappointed when she heard Lin Feng say this, and she thought that this business deal would be blown. Just when she was disappointed, Lin Feng spoke again. "Besides this test drive car, do you have any Mercedes-Benz G500 in stock?" Hearing Lin Feng's words, the car salesperson's eyes lit up instantly, and she hurriedly answered, Yes, we just happen to have a Mercedes-Benz G500 with the best configuration that a customer ordered a few months ago in our warehouse. Later, because the customer had a problem with his working capital, he could not pick up the car, so it happened to be idle in the warehouse. The color is exactly the same as this one, but the configuration is better than this one, and the price is a little more expensive. How much is it?" Lin Feng asked lightly. "Well, Mr. Lin, the full price of that car is 2.56 million. I can apply for a discount for you. If you pay it all at once, it will only cost 2.48 million. The car salesperson said hesitantly. After all, the price was not cheap, and he was afraid that Lin Feng would not want it. "Okay, you can help me find someone to check it. If there is no problem, take it," Lin Feng said casually. "Okay, I will arrange it right away. Mr. Lin, please come with me," the car salesperson said excitedly. Then he took Lin Feng to the VIP room, made tea, and asked Lin Feng to wait for a while. Chapter 889 Zhang Yuxi's Grandma. After a few minutes, the brand new Mercedes-Benz G500 drove over. Lin Feng took out his bank card and completed the formalities. The car was his. Half an hour later, even the license plate was applied for Lin Feng. The speed was amazing, and the service was impeccable. So far, Lin Feng has become a distinguished owner of a Mercedes-Benz G-Class. Mr. Lin, congratulations on becoming a supreme member of our 4S store. This is your membership card. I will help you put it together with the vehicle information, the car salesperson said with a smile on his face. Well, please help me arrange for the car to be delivered to the community where I live. I will send you the address later, Lin Feng casually ordered. Okay, I will arrange it for you right away, the car salesperson said respectfully. There was no way. Lin Feng bought the car in full without blinking an eye. What a big shot. After Lin Feng sent the address to the car salesman, he turned around and walked out of the 4S store, driving away in his Ferrari 488. The car salesman watched the disappearing figure of Lin Feng's Ferrari 488. Huh? She exhaled deeply. She murmured to herself, a real tall, rich and handsome man. What a pity, she knew herself well, and Lin Feng didn't like her at all with her looks. What a pity. And Lin Feng had no way of knowing all this, and even if he knew, Lin Feng would only smile faintly. In his heart, there was only Zhang Yuxi. There was no way. He was such a good man. After Lin Feng returned home, he casually found some bread in the refrigerator and filled his stomach. Lin Feng sat on the sofa, took out his mobile phone, and called Zhang Yuxi. Beep beep. This time the call was quickly connected. Hey, idiot, what's wrong? Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Yuxi, I miss you, Lin Feng said in a cheesy way. Zhang Yuxi on the other end of the phone blushed instantly. She secretly glanced at her mother, and then whispered into the phone. Silly, I miss you too. Yuxi, send me the address of your grandmother's house, and I'll send you something. Lin Feng said nonsense seriously. Silly, what are you sending? Zhang Yuxi asked curiously. I won't tell you, you will know when the time comes, give you a surprise, Lin Feng said with a chuckle. HMPH, if you don't tell me, then I won't give you the address, Zhang Yuxi said in a naughty way. Oh, anyway, it's a surprise, you will know when the time comes, Lin Feng said helplessly. If I really told Zhang Yuxi, it would be a fart surprise. No, you tell me first, I'm curious, Zhang Yuxi said coquettishly. For a moment, she forgot that her mother and grandmother were also there. This scene was seen by her mother and grandmother. It was the first time for them to see Zhang Yuxi's little woman's posture. Okay, dear, I'll send you a courier. Remember to check it when the time comes. It's really a surprise. Don't be too touched, haha. Lin Feng said with a smile. Zhang Yuxi saw that Lin Feng refused to tell her, so she had no choice but to give Lin Feng the address. After the two chatted for a few more sentences, they hung up the phone. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Yuxi saw her mother and grandmother looking at her strangely. She suddenly remembered that she was too immersed in talking to Lin Feng on the phone just now and forgot their existence for a while. She blushed instantly, and she was so shy that she wanted to find a hole in the ground and crawl into it. Grandma looked at Zhang Yuxi's shy look and said with a smile, "Granddaughter has grown up. Is she a boyfriend? When will you bring him over to show Grandma?" Zhang Yuxi covered her face shyly. It was all Lin Feng's fault for making her so embarrassed. "Grandma," Zhang Yuxi said shyly. Zhang Yuxi's mother Zhao Lizhan was curious. Although she had heard from her husband Zhang Fuiong about her daughter's love affair, she had never met Lin Feng, so she was curious about what her daughter's boyfriend looked like and what kind of person he was. She was not such a conservative person, and she was also scared after hearing her husband say that her daughter had suicidal thoughts. Fortunately, her daughter's boyfriend pulled her out of depression. Otherwise, if something really happened, how would she live? She only has such a precious daughter. Zhao Lizhan smiled and said, "Yuxi, your grandma is right. When will you bring your little boyfriend back to see? Mom is also very curious about what kind of person deceived my daughter away." "Mom, Grandma, you. I won't pay attention to you." Zhang Yuxi's face was red with shyness. After saying this, she covered her face and ran back to the room. Ha ha ha. This girl, she is still shy. Only her grandma and her mother were left, laughing in the same place. On the other hand, after Lin Feng received the address sent by Zhang Yuxi, he called his mother Zhou Qilin. "Hello, Mom, I'm going out to play with my classmates for a few days. I won't be home these days, so you don't have to cook for me," Lin Feng said to Zhou Qilin on the other end of the phone. After Zhou Qilin gave him many warnings, she told him to be careful and not to cause trouble, and then hung up the phone. Lin Feng thought about it with the phone, and then called his father Lin Dashan. He told him that he was going out to travel with his classmates for a few days and asked him not to worry. After everything was settled, Lin Feng went into the room and simply packed a few clothes. At this time, the 4S store delivered the Mercedes-Benz G500 that Lin Feng bought in the morning. After Lin Feng went downstairs to check and sign for it, he went upstairs to take the packed things down. Opening the door of the Mercedes-Benz G500, Lin Feng stepped into the car. After starting the engine, he found that the 4S store had even filled up his tank with gas. Well, it also saved him from making a trip to refuel. After fastening his seat belt, Lin Feng started the new car. With one foot on the accelerator, the Mercedes-Benz G500 instantly jumped forward and drove out of the underground parking garage of the community. The field of vision of the off-road vehicle is good, and the front is unobstructed. Is this what it feels like to be a scumbag in the previous life? Lin Feng thought to himself. Oh, I almost forgot that I have to buy some gifts to bring over, otherwise it would not be appropriate for two empty-handed people to go home. So Lin Feng turned around and drove the car to the large commercial street in the city center. Soon Lin Feng arrived at the commercial street. After parking the car, he walked towards the mall. Lin Feng walked around for a while and bought some supplements and nutritional supplements for Zhang Yuxi's grandmother, as well as a few cigarettes and a box of wine, which he would give to Zhang Yuxi's uncle and her grandmother's neighbors. He also bought a few boxes of cosmetics for Zhang Yuxi's mother. It took a long time for the salesperson to figure out the cosmetics. Finally, he brought some snacks and other small gifts to Zhang Yuxi. Others have gifts, so his girlfriend must have one too. After finishing all this, Lin Feng quickly went down to the parking lot. Lin Feng looked at the time. It was 1 o'clock in the afternoon. 300 or 400 kilometers would take at least 3 or 4 hours. He had to hurry up and get there before dark. After Lin Feng put all the gifts in the back of the car, he quickly started the car. The Mercedes-Benz G500 rushed out in an instant. After leaving the city, Lin Feng followed a navigation and accelerated. Along the way, Lin Feng played music, hummed while driving, and time passed quickly. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 890. Where should I stay tonight? Lin Feng drove very fast on the highway. At about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Feng got off the highway. There was less than 5 kilometers left to Zhang Yuxi's grandmother's house, and it was estimated that it would take more than 10 minutes to get there. Lin Feng began to get nervous. Although he had lived 2 lives and was several dozen years older than his parents, this was his first time to meet their parents. He was a little nervous and thought about how to talk. And those aunts and uncles, Lin Feng was a little panicked. Thinking about it, Lin Feng had entered the small county where Zhang Yuxi's hometown was located, and watched the distance to the destination shown on the navigation getting closer and closer. Lin Feng looked out the car window at the green rice fields along the way, and the uneasiness in his heart slowly calmed down. Lin Feng shook his head, dispelled the distracting thoughts in his mind, and cheered himself up. Come on. Lin Feng, you can do it, it's a small thing. Then he stepped on the accelerator and soon arrived outside the self-built small Western-style building of Zhang Yuxi's grandmother's house. He took out his mobile phone and called Zhang Yuxi. Hello, Yuxi, your express has arrived. Please go downstairs to check it. Has the express arrived? I didn't receive the call. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was lying in front of the window in the room, looking at the scenery in the field not far away. She was a little confused when she received Lin Feng's call. Well, it's here. It's at the door. Come down and get it. Lin Feng suppressed his smile and said calmly. After hanging up the phone, Zhang Yuxi ran downstairs. A minute later. Squeak. The gate of the yard was slowly pushed open. Zhang Yuxi saw a domineering-looking car parked in front of the gate. She was a little confused. She slowly approached and looked into the car. In an instant, she was stunned. She covered her pink cherry mouth with both hands, her face full of disbelief. Just when Zhang Yuxi pushed open the door, Lin Feng had already seen him. He opened the car door with a smile on his face and jumped out of the car. Lin Feng stood in front of the car, looking at Zhang Yuxi tenderly. Zhang Yuxi's eyes were filled with tears. The moment Lin Feng got off the car, she stumbled over, threw herself into Lin Feng's arms, and hugged Lin Feng tightly. She said with a crying voice, Lin Feng, why are you here? Lin Feng gently patted Zhang Yuxi's back and said gently, Silly, I missed you, so I came. After hearing this, Zhang Yuxi hugged Lin Feng tighter. The two hugged quietly like this. Zhang Yuxi didn't expect Lin Feng to come. It turned out that he asked for her address because he wanted to find her. She was really moved. Yuxi, how is it? Is this surprise satisfactory enough? Lin Feng whispered in Zhang Yuxi's ear. Yes, Zhang Yuxi said with emotion. Suddenly, there was a noise in the yard. Zhang Yuxi thought that her mother came out, and she quickly struggled out of Lin Feng's arms. Her little face was flushed, very cute. At this moment, a woman in her 40s with a charming demeanor appeared at the door. Lin Feng looked over and saw that the woman had a well-maintained appearance, with light makeup on her face and delicate eyebrows and eyes. She looked 80% like Zhang Yuxi, and it can be seen that she was also a great beauty when she was young. This face looked very similar to Zhao Lizhen in her previous life, but it was a younger version. Lin Feng estimated that she should be Zhao Lizhen, Zhang Yuxi's mother. Just as Lin Feng was looking at Zhang Yuxi's mother, Zhao Lizhen was also looking at him. Lin Feng had handsome features and was more than 1.8 meters tall. His slightly immature eyebrows and eyes revealed a trace of calmness. Zhao Lizhen looked at Lin Feng and thought to herself that the young man was quite tall and handsome. Her daughter's taste was not bad. At this time, the woman spoke. Yuxi, who is this? Zhang Yuxi's little face was already flushed at this time. She said shyly. Mom, this is Lin Feng, my boyfriend. Lin Feng smiled at Zhang Yuxi's shy look. He walked up to Zhang Yuxi's mother and said, Auntie, hello, I'm Lin Feng. Okay. Zhao Lizhen said very satisfied at this time. Zhao Lizhen looked at Lin Feng in front of her, and then looked at the car parked beside her. She smiled and said, Zhao Lin, you must have been driving all the way, come in quickly and talk. Then she said to Zhang Yuxi, Yuxi, open the door and let Zhao Lin drive in first. Okay. Zhang Yuxi saw that her mother Zhao Lizhen was smiling and seemed to be very satisfied with Lin Feng, so she responded with a smile. The gate of the courtyard opened, and Lin Feng drove the Mercedes-Benz G500 slowly into the courtyard. After parking the car, Lin Feng opened the door of the back seat and took out the gift. Huh? Xiao Lin. You came just like that, why did you bring so many things? Zhao Lizhan looked at Lin Feng with a reproachful look and said, Auntie, it's okay, just a little thought. Lin Feng said quickly. Afterwards, Lin Feng carried the things into the living room, and Zhang Yuxi also helped to carry the things. Zhao Lizhan saw that Lin Feng was polite and spoke appropriately, and she heard from her husband Zhang Fuiong that Lin Feng was very capable and that she could make money now. He was also very handsome. At this moment, the more she looked at Lin Feng, the more she liked him. Is this what is called the mother-in-law looking at her son-in-law? The more she looks at him, the happier she is? The three of them sat on the sofa in the living room. At this time, Zhang Yuxi's grandmother heard the sound and came out of the room. Zhang Yuxi hurriedly went up to support her grandmother. Grandma, this is Lin Feng. Zhang Yuxi introduced happily. Hello, Grandma. Lin Feng said respectfully. Lin Feng respects elders like grandparents. Okay, you are Nanan's boyfriend, a handsome man, not bad, not bad, you have been bullied by Nanan a lot, right? Hehe. Grandma looked at Lin Feng and said kindly. Grandma, how could I bully him? Zhang Yuxi supported her grandmother's arm and said coquettishly. Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi who was standing beside him. Zhang Yuxi glared at him with a threatening look in her eyes, as if to say, think it over for me first. Oh, Grandma, Yuxi is very good. She didn't bully me. Okay, you just need to be okay. Grandma said with a smile. Oh, by the way, I heard from Yuxi that Grandma is not in good health. I consulted a doctor and brought some nutritional supplements for Grandma. Grandma can eat some on a daily basis. Lin Feng suddenly remembered and spoke. Grandma took Lin Feng's hand and said with a smile, Child, you are thoughtful. And Auntie, I also brought you a few boxes of skincare products. It is said that this does not contain any chemical ingredients and is very suitable for Auntie's daily maintenance. Lin Feng looked at Zhao Lizhan and spoke. I have some too, Xiaolin, I am thoughtful. Zhao Lizhan said with a smile on her face. After speaking, Lin Feng stopped. At this time, Zhang Yuxi lowered her head and remained silent. Grandma and mother both had them, but she didn't. She felt a little disappointed. Seeing her lost look, Lin Feng reached out and scratched her little nose. Silly girl, how could you be missing something? Here, these are small gifts for you and some snacks you like. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a doting look on his face. Zhang Yuxi saw that she also had some. Her face instantly regained a smile and smiled happily. Lin Feng, you are so nice. Zhang Yuxi said with a smile. Silly, you only know how good I am now. Lin Feng pinched Zhang Yuxi's little nose and said. Grandma and Zhao Lizhan looked at the two people getting along so well, smiling. After chatting for a while, Zhao Lizhan spoke to Zhang Yuxi. Xiao Lin is tired from driving all the way. Take him upstairs to rest. I will call you for dinner. Then she suddenly remembered something and smiled at Lin Feng. By the way, Yuxi's father will be back tonight. You have also met him. You two can have a few drinks later. Then Zhang Yuxi took Lin Feng upstairs. Lin Feng looked at the room Zhang Yuxi used to live in, with pink girlish wall decorations. Lin Feng looked at all this with a curious look on his face. After Zhang Yuxi locked the door, she threw herself into Lin Feng's arms. Lin Feng, I miss you so much. Lin Feng looked up at Zhang Yuxi's delicate little face, her eyes sparkling and full of love. A few minutes later, Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who looked shy, and smiled and said, Yuxi, where should I stay tonight? Chapter 891 Jealous Zhang Fuiong. Hearing Lin Feng's words, Zhang Yuxi's pretty face suddenly became more rosy, as hot as a stove. For some reason, her heartbeat began to speed up. Zhang Yuxi thought, Lin Feng would not want to sleep in the same room with her at night? Should she agree? But Dad, Mom, and Grandma are all here. It's so embarrassing. Lin Feng saw her silly look. He couldn't help laughing, this fool. With so many people around, even if Zhang Yuxi agreed, he would be embarrassed. Since they can't sleep together at night, it should be okay to sleep together in broad daylight now, right? Lin Feng smiled evilly and spoke softly. Yuxi, let me take a rest now. I'm really tired from driving all the way. After that, Lin Feng lay on Zhang Yuxi's bed. Feeling the scent of Zhang Yuxi remaining on the bed, Lin Feng was intoxicated. Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng lying in the place where she usually slept, and a strange feeling filled her heart. She was very shy and wanted to go out for some fresh air. Her face was very hot, and her heartbeat accelerated, thumping non-stop. Lin Feng, I. Just when Zhang Yuxi wanted to slip away, Lin Feng spoke softly and gently. Yuxi, come and lie down, let's rest together for a while. Zhang Yuxi hesitated, and finally laid down slowly and slept beside Lin Feng. At this time, both of them had no distracting thoughts in their hearts, and felt extremely at ease. Just hugged like this. After a while, the two fell asleep deeply. Lin Feng was really tired. He ran all day today and drove for several hours. I don't know how long it took. Zhang Yuxi's eyelashes trembled, and slowly opened her eyes. She felt a warmth on her body, turned her head and saw that Lin Feng was still not awake. She quietly looked at Lin Feng's handsome profile. There was a slight smile on that sleeping face, and I felt that Lin Feng was so cute at this time. She wanted to get up, but seeing that Lin Feng was sleeping soundly, she was afraid to wake him up, and she felt conflicted. She had no choice but to lie still, looking at Lin Feng quietly, thinking that Lin Feng was the one she wanted to spend her whole life with, and she felt shy. When she wasn't paying attention, the corner of Lin Feng's mouth curled up slightly. In fact, Lin Feng woke up when Zhang Yuxi woke up and stared at him. He was afraid that Zhang Yuxi would be shy, so he pretended to be asleep. Feeling Zhang Yuxi's breath, Lin Feng's heart became unsettled. Zhang Yuxi felt something pressing against her at this moment. Maybe Lin Feng forgot to take out his car keys? Zhang Yuxi thought. She was about to help Lin Feng take out the car keys and put them away. At this moment, Lin Feng slowly opened his eyes and rubbed his eyes. She said softly, Yuxi, are you awake? Zhang Yuxi thought Lin Feng didn't know that she had been secretly looking at him just now. So he pretended that nothing happened and said softly, well, I just woke up and saw that you were still sleeping, so I didn't wake you up. Lin Feng looked up at the window and saw that the sky had gradually darkened. He spoke gently. Yuxi, let's get up. Go downstairs and see if there's anything I can help with. It's always a bit embarrassing to just wait for food on the house. Zhang Yuxi heard him say this and nodded softly. Oh, by the way, Lin Feng, did you forget to take out your car keys from your pocket? I felt a little uncomfortable just now. Oh, yes, it's the car keys. I forgot to take them out. Lin Feng touched his head and smiled awkwardly. Zhang Yuxi didn't think much about it. Then, the two got up. After they packed up, they went downstairs. At this time, a smell of food wafted from the kitchen, and Lin Feng's stomach couldn't help but growl. He ate a few slices of bread at noon. He was really hungry after running all day. The two walked into the kitchen. Zhang Yuxi's mother Zhao Lizhan was busy. Seeing the two people coming in, she smiled and said, Are you awake? Zhang Yuxi's face turned red again, feeling a little guilty. Seeing this, Lin Feng smiled and said, Yes, Auntie. Is there anything I can help you with? Zhao Lizhan waved her hand and said with a smile. It's almost done. No need. Go to the living room and watch TV for a while. It will be ready soon. Then she drove them out of the kitchen. Lin Feng had no choice but to go back to the living room with Zhang Yuxi and sit on the sofa and watch TV. Lin Feng was really hungry. He opened the snacks he bought for Zhang Yuxi, and the two of them ate while watching TV. After watching for a while, at this time, the sound of a car came from the yard. It should be his father who came back. Zhang Yuxi got up and walked out. Lin Feng had to get up and follow him out. Zhang Fuiong was curious about a Mercedes-Benz G500 parked in the yard at this time. When he saw Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng behind her, he immediately understood. It turned out that this guy was here, no wonder. But, didn't this guy drive a Ferrari? Why did he change to a Mercedes-Benz G500? Damn, don't tell me. This guy must have made a lot of money again. Just when Zhang Fuiong was distracted, Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng had already walked up to him. Dad, you're back. Zhang Yuxi smiled sweetly. Yes. Zhang Fuiong came back to his senses and smiled at his daughter. Hello, Uncle Zhang. Lin Feng said respectfully. Zhang Fuiong turned his head and glanced at Lin Feng. Yes, I'm here. Did you change your car? Zhang Fuiong asked curiously. Yes, it was inconvenient to drive to some places before, so I bought another one. Lin Feng said casually. Did you buy this one with your own money? Zhang Fuiong asked unwillingly. Yes, I made some money in the past few days. Lin Feng still said casually. Damn. I've made some money these days. Could it be that I've been living a dog's life for most of my life? Is money so easy to make? Zhang Fuiong couldn't help but mutter in his heart. He looked at Lin Feng with some displeasure. I'll deal with you later. He said, can you drink? Have a couple of drinks with me later. A little bit. It's okay. Zhang Fuiong waved his hand and said casually. He planned to get Lin Feng drunk later. Who let this kid show off in front of him all day long? Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Fuiong's unfriendly eyes. It seems that tonight will be another fierce battle. If Lin Feng knew this, he would definitely shout in his heart that he was wronged. He was just telling the truth. What did he show off? Money. Is it really so easy to make? What can he do? With that, the three of them walked into the living room. Chapter 892, Only Drinking a Little. The three of them just entered the living room. At this time, Zhang Yuxi's mother Zhao Lizhan came out of the kitchen with dishes. Seeing the three of them coming in, she smiled and said, Huh? Old Zhang, you're back. Just right, wash your hands and eat. So Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi hurried to help bring out the dishes. Then, they helped Zhang Yuxi's grandmother out, and several people sat down. The scene was harmonious. After eating some food to fill their stomachs, Zhang Fuiong glanced at Lin Feng, and then spoke to Zhao Lizhan. Wife, please help bring a bottle of wine over. With such a good meal tonight, Zhao Lin and I will have a few drinks. Zhao Lizhan smiled and was about to get up when Lin Feng spoke. Auntie, I'll go get it. I also brought a few bottles of wine when I came here today. According to the people in the wine cabinet, it tastes good and is quite delicious. Seeing Lin Feng say this, Zhang Fuiong smiled and said, okay, then let's try the wine that Zhao Lin brought today. Lin Feng got up and went to the sofa and brought a Maote wine over. After opening it, he poured a glass for Zhang Fuiong and Zhao Lizhan, and then poured himself a glass. Lin Feng raised his glass and said to Zhang Fuiong and Zhao Lizhan, Uncle, and I toast you a glass, thank you for the hospitality. Zhao Lin, don't be too polite, just treat it as your own home. Zhao Lizhan said with a smile. She was very satisfied with Lin Feng. Tisk, this Maote is different, it tastes smooth, it really deserves to be the national seller. Zhang Fuiong praised it. Haha, as long as uncle is satisfied. Lin Feng said with a smile. After 3 rounds of drinking, everyone ate and talked, and laughter came from time to time. Zhang Fuiong drank a few glasses of wine at this time, and his face was slightly flushed. He looked at Lin Feng and said casually, Zhao Lin, you just bought this car, right? It must be several million, right? Uncle, I just picked up the car this morning, it didn't cost that much, just more than 2 million. Lin Feng was also a little drunk, he said casually. Ah, this car is so expensive. Zhang Yuxi's mother Zhao Lizhan said in surprise. She originally thought that this car was very nice and estimated that it would cost about 300,000 or 400,000 yuan, but she didn't expect it to cost more than 2 million yuan. Well, my wife, you don't know, this guy is very capable. He also has a Ferrari worth 4 or 5 million yuan. Oh, Ferrari, do you know it? It's that kind of sports car. These are all bought by this guy with his own money. Wow, it feels like this guy makes money so easily. This guy has a rich family. Zhang Fuiong was drunk at this time and said with some envy. Zhao Lizhan had heard from her husband before that Lin Feng could make money by himself now, but she didn't expect it to be so powerful. She looked at Lin Feng with more and more satisfaction. Hear up. Auntie, it's not as exaggerated as uncle said. I just helped others do some things and then made some money by investing myself. Lin Feng said modestly. Zhang Yuxi was sitting aside and watching Lin Feng. She was getting along well with her parents and was very happy. Grandma, eat more, this is delicious. Zhang Yuxi smiled and picked up some food for her grandma. Grandma looked at Lin Feng, then at Zhang Yuxi, and said kindly. Nanan, seeing you two getting along well, Grandma is satisfied. I hope I can have your child in a few years. Zhang Yuxi said shyly when she saw her grandma say this. Grandma, how can it be so fast? We both have to go to college. Ha ha ha. Zhao Lizhan and others laughed at Zhang Yuxi's shy look. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's shy face, and he reached out and held Zhang Yuxi's little hand with a doting look. Zhang Yuxi turned her head and looked at Lin Feng, and a sweet smile appeared on her rosy little face. Zhao Lizhan looked at the two people's happy faces and smiled with satisfaction. Zhang Fuiyang looked at the two people like this and felt a little jealous. Although he knew that his precious daughter's heart had long been tied to Lin Feng, he still felt a little unhappy. The precious daughter that he had raised with great effort was just taken away by this pig Lin Feng. So he picked up the wine glass and said, "Boy, come on, drink." Lin Feng had no choice but to let go of Zhang Yuxi's warm little hand, raised the wine glass and started drinking with Zhang Fuiyang. One glass of white wine after another went down his throat. Zhang Fuiyang was a little drunk at this moment, and he felt even more upset when he saw that Lin Feng was still calm. "Come on, keep drinking." In a blink of an eye, the two had finished a bottle of wine. Lin Feng really only felt a little bit at this time, but there was no way. In his previous life, Lin Feng was decadent because of the changes in his family. He was always smoking and drinking all day long, and he had already practiced the skill of not getting drunk after drinking 1,000 cups. "Wife, bring another bottle of wine over. I want to drink to my heart's content with Zhao Lin tonight," Zhang Fuiyang said to his wife Zhao Lizhan. Zhao Lizhan saw that her husband Zhang Fuiyang was a little drunk, so she spoke softly. "Lao Zhang, that's enough. You're tired after a day's work. Don't drink so much." "Wife, it's okay. This is just the beginning. Don't worry. Have fun tonight. Drink a few more glasses," Zhang Fuiyang said. Zhao Lizhan saw him say this and had no choice but to get another bottle of wine for the two of them. "Come on, boy, let's continue drinking." The two continued to drink, and soon most of the bottle of wine was gone. At this time, only Zhang Fuiyang and Lin Feng were left at the table to continue eating. After eating, Grandma Zhang Yuxi took a break and went back to her room to rest. The old lady was in poor health and easily fell asleep. After drinking for a while, Zhang Fuiyang was already 7 points drunk. He looked at Lin Feng and spoke seriously. "Boy, I'm telling you, I only have this one precious daughter. If you dare to let her down or bully her, I will definitely break all your limbs." "Oh, break all your limbs again." Lin Feng felt a chill in his heart. He quickly said, "Don't worry, uncle, I promise you, I won't." "Well, you better keep your word. Otherwise, I will never let you go," Zhang Fuiyang said lightly. Zhao Lizhan, who was standing aside, heard her husband say this and scolded him in a low voice. "Old Zhang, you've had too much to drink. Don't talk nonsense." "Auntie, it's okay. Uncle is also thinking about Yuxi, I can understand," Lin Feng said quickly. Zhao Lizhan saw Lin Feng say this, sensible and polite. She was more and more satisfied. Her daughter has found a reliable and good man. Zhang Fuiyang saw his wife scolding him. He was a little dissatisfied, and said weakly, "I didn't drink too much. Look at Lin Feng. He said he couldn't drink. He wasn't drunk, so how could I be drunk?" Zhao Lizhan looked at her husband's childish temper and shook her head helplessly. Zhang Fuiyang looked at Lin Feng and said, "Come on, let's continue drinking. This is just the beginning. A real man should drink big bowls of wine and eat big mouthfuls of meat. Come on, continue." After saying that, he poured another full glass for Lin Feng. Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi, who was a little worried about him, and nodded gently to indicate that it was okay. Then the two of them started drinking again. The last bottle of wine was already empty. Zhang Fuiyang was already dizzy at this time. He looked at Lin Feng and questioned with a tangled tongue, You kid. Didn't you say you could only drink a little?" After saying that, he fell drunk on the dining table and fell asleep. Looking at the drunk Zhang Fuiyang, Lin Feng smiled helplessly. "Uncle, I really can only drink a little bit." Chapter 893 This fool only knows how to bully others. Looking at Zhang Fuiyang who was drunk on the dining table, Lin Feng smiled helplessly. After helping to carry Zhang Fuiyang back to the room, he went downstairs and started to clean up the dining table. "Huh?" After finishing, Lin Feng, Zhang Yuxi and her mother Zhao Lizhan sat on the sofa and took a long breath. Zhao Lizhan looked at Lin Feng and said, "Zhao Lin, I made a fool of myself. Yuxi's father is like this when he is happy. He drinks easily." No, uncle is happy, it's understandable," Lin Feng said quickly. Then, the three of them ate fruit and chatted. Time quickly came to 11 o'clock in the evening. Zhao Lizhan saw that it was getting late and said to Zhang Yuxi, "Yuxi, go and help Zhao Lin clean up the guest room next to your room. Zhao Lin is also tired tonight. Take a shower and rest early." "Okay, Mom." After Zhang Yuxi finished speaking, she pulled Lin Feng up and the two went upstairs. The two entered the guest room. Zhang Yuxi took out a bed sheet from the cabinet and helped Lin Feng make the bed. She looked serious, like a young wife. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's expression, and took advantage of the slight intoxication to speak. "Wife, I want to sleep alone tonight." "Ah. Yes, what's wrong?" Zhang Yuxi asked with a puzzled look. "No, I'm a little bit used to my bed. I think it's more peaceful to sleep like that in the afternoon," Lin Feng said seriously. Zhang Yuxi thought of what happened in the afternoon, and her face instantly turned red to the root of her neck. Tisk, wishful thinking. She rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said. Lin Feng paused and continued. "Yuxi, I can't sleep in this unfamiliar environment." Lin Feng's tone was a little coquettish and cute. Zhang Yuxi couldn't stand Lin Feng's coquettish and cute. She quickly helped Lin Feng make the bed, and ran away. Lin Feng leaned against the door, watching Zhang Yuxi fleeing in panic. This silly girl. Lin Feng shook his head and smiled helplessly. After Zhang Yuxi finished washing up, she came out wearing a loose one-piece pajamas with Mickey Mouse printed on the chest. She wiped her hair and walked towards Lin Feng. The slightly damp hair draped over her shoulders, and there was a trace of water on her forehead that had not been wiped dry, the whole picture of a beauty just out of the bath, like a person walking out of a painting. Lin Feng was stunned, staring straight at Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi was frightened by Lin Feng's eyes that seemed to want to swallow her up. She patted her chest and ran back to her room. Lin Feng came back to his senses. His wife is really beautiful. Wow, that figure is quite good. The feeling in the afternoon is still vivid in my mind. After a while, Zhang Yuxi came out again, holding new toiletries, and after handing them to Lin Feng, she ran away again. Ran away. Lin Feng smiled and shook his head. This girl is so cute. After washing up, Lin Feng lay on the bed, thinking that this was the first time he had officially met his parents, and it seemed that Zhang Yuxi's mother liked him and was satisfied with him. Another step on the road to success. Tomorrow, I will ask them to go on a trip with Zhang Yuxi. They should agree, right? Lin Feng thought to himself. Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and checked the time. It was already 12:30. Zhang Yuxi's mother should be asleep. Click. Lin Feng got up and quietly opened the door. He tiptoed to the door of Zhang Yuxi's room and gently turned the doorknob. The door opened, and Lin Feng carefully poked his head in and called softly. Yuxi, are you asleep? The light in the room came on. Zhang Yuxi rubbed her eyes and looked at Lin Feng standing at the door. At the same time, there was another person, that is Zhang Yuxi's mother, who also looked at Lin Feng standing at the door with a puzzled look. In an instant, the six eyes met. Lin Feng was so embarrassed that he wanted to find a crack in the ground to crawl into. He said a little embarrassedly. Oh, that, Auntie is here too. I want to ask Yuxi if there is any mosquito coil. There are a lot of mosquitoes. Oh, look at me, I forgot about this. I'll get you a box of mosquito coils. The mosquitoes in the countryside are really fierce in this season. Zhao Lizhan didn't doubt him, and after saying that, she got up and went to get mosquito coils for Lin Feng. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were left looking at each other. Pudgy. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing. She knew what Lin Feng wanted to do, but, ha. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi with a resentful face at this time. Fortunately, he called out. If he didn't say anything and went directly to the bed, then this joke would be a big joke. After a while, Zhao Lizhan came back with a box of mosquito coils. Seeing Zhang Yuxi smiling there, she was a little confused, but she didn't think much about it. After giving the mosquito coil to Lin Feng, she didn't know whether it was intentional or unintentional. She said, Yuxi's father is drunk and snoring loudly, so I had to come and sleep with Yuxi for one night. Well, okay, Auntie, you and Yuxi should go to bed early. Good night. Huh? After saying that, Lin Feng closed the door. He stood at the door and took a long breath. Forget it, the dream is ruined. There is a long way to go, so let Zhang Yuxi go today. Humph, you dare to laugh at me. Next time, I'll see how I'll deal with you. Lin Feng took the mosquito coil and went back to his room. Lin Feng lay on the bed, listening to the chirping of insects and birds in the fields outside the window. His heart was quiet for a while, and he soon fell asleep. In the dream, he spanked Zhang Yuxi's little butt and dealt with her. Nothing happened all night. Lin Feng woke up early the next morning. Huh? Lin Feng stretched himself. Although there was no beauty to accompany him, this sleep was really comfortable. Lin Feng put on his clothes and opened the door, just in time to run into Zhang Yuxi, who opened the door. The two looked at each other, and Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing when she thought of Lin Feng's performance last night. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's cute appearance, took 3 or 2 steps forward, and quickly kissed her on the face. Oh. Zhang Yuxi was stunned and stood there blankly. After dozens of seconds, she reacted. Her face instantly turned red like fire. She didn't expect Lin Feng to be so bold. If she was seen, then, it would be so embarrassing. Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng looking at her with a playful look on his face. She couldn't help but give Lin Feng a white look. This fool only knew how to bully others, Then the two went to wash up together, brushing their teeth in the bathroom while playing around, just like a newlywed couple. The two of them quarreled for a long time before coming out of the bathroom. This scene happened to be seen by Zhang Yuxi's mother, Zhao Lizhan. Zhao Lizhan looked at the two of them with a smile on her face. Zhang Yuxi's face instantly turned red, and she ran away with her hands covering her face. Lin Feng was left standing there a little embarrassed. He smiled awkwardly and said, "Auntie, I'll go see Yuxi." After that, he also slipped away. Chapter 894. Let's travel. As soon as Lin Feng entered the room, Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes and said, "It's all your fault. I'm so embarrassed." "Oh, okay, it's all my fault. It's my fault. Be good," Lin Feng coaxed Zhang Yuxi helplessly. Then the two of them packed up and went downstairs. After breakfast, the weather was very good today, so Zhang Yuxi and Lin Feng decided to go out for a walk in the countryside. At this time, Zhang Fuiong drank too much yesterday and was still sleeping soundly. So the two of them went out to have fun while the sun was not so scorching. The two of them strolled along the country road, looking at the green rice fields around them and breathing the fresh air in the morning, which made people feel refreshed. The two of them played and joked all the way and had a lot of fun. Zhang Yuxi was running in front, and suddenly turned around and shouted to Lin Feng. "Lin Feng, carry me." Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's childish appearance, smiled, and then squatted down. He clapped his hands to Zhang Yuxi and said, "Come on up, my queen." Zhang Yuxi ran over excitedly. She jumped onto Lin Feng's back, laughing and shouting, "Little Lin, let's go." Ha ha ha. Lin Feng smiled and was also in a playful mood. "Okay, my queen, hold on tight, let's go." Then, Lin Feng carried Zhang Yuxi on his back and trotted all the way. Zhang Yuxi lay tightly on Lin Feng's back, feeling Lin Feng's strong shoulders, breathing his breath, and her heart was extremely peaceful. Along the way, Zhang Yuxi stretched out her hand to touch the branches of the rice seedlings in the field that stretched out to the roadside, and lay on Lin Feng's back and looked into the distance, thinking that if she could stay like this for a lifetime, maybe she would be very happy. After running for a while with Zhang Yuxi on her back, Lin Feng felt a little tired. Feeling Lin Feng's gradually increasing breathing, Zhang Yuxi also felt sorry for him, so she got off Lin Feng's back. So the two of them walked slowly on the path in the field, hand in hand. Looking at the people working in the distance before the sun rises, Zhang Yuxi felt a sense of emotion. The world is so beautiful because of the efforts of countless people. The two walked to a stream and stopped. Looking at the clear stream, Zhang Yuxi was delighted. She took off her shoes and sat barefoot beside the stream. The rising sun revealed mottled light, shining on Zhang Yuxi's face. Zhang Yuxi's figure was reflected in the water. Everything seemed so beautiful, like a poem or a painting. Lin Feng immediately took out his mobile phone, froze this moment, and recorded this scene. Zhang Yuxi turned around and smiled sweetly at Lin Feng, surprised. "Lin Feng, come here quickly, there are fish here." Lin Feng was admiring Zhang Yuxi on the phone. When she called him, he smiled and walked over. Then Lin Feng also took off his shoes, and the two sat beside the stream, soaking their feet in the cool stream water, swinging them one after another. Zhang Yuxi gently leaned her head on Lin Feng's shoulder and whispered softly, "Lin Feng, I really hope that such days can continue, but unfortunately." Lin Feng put his arm around Zhang Yuxi's waist and spoke softly and tenderly. "Silly, such a life is very beautiful, because I have you. As long as you are by my side, no matter how life goes, it is beautiful." Pudgy. Sassy. After hearing Lin Feng's words, the sadness on Zhang Yuxi's face was swept away and she couldn't help laughing. This guy knows how to make people happy. The two leaned against each other quietly. The morning sun brought a little warmth, and the picture at this moment was so beautiful. Yuxi, let's go on a trip. Lin Feng suddenly said softly. Ah. Lin Feng's sudden words surprised Zhang Yuxi. Yuxi, let's go on a trip, just the two of us. I have planned it a long time ago, and the car is also prepared for our trip. Lin Feng said gently. Zhang Yuxi was suddenly surprised. Where are we going? Where are we going? Of course we're going to a place where there's no one, and then have a baby. Lin Feng suddenly started to tease her. Bah, disgusting. You're so frivolous. Zhang Yuxi was a little uncomfortable with Lin Feng's sudden flirting. Okay, let's go to Sichuan, Tibet. I've heard that people must go to Sichuan, Tibet once in their lifetime. It's the last pure land on earth. Every inch of the scenery there is like a painting. It can wash away the filth of the world and purify people's hearts. It's the starting point of the soul. Lin Feng said softly, with a hint of yearning in his words. At this time, Zhang Yuxi's heart was also yearning for the Sichuan Tibet scenes that had been described in the textbooks before. She was also very yearning. At this moment, Lin Feng brought it up, and she was also very excited. She said softly. Okay. So the two of them finalized the travel plan. Lin Feng began to check what to bring for the Sichuan Tibet trip, as well as some precautions. Time passed quickly. After the two of them discussed the matters, it was already 11 o'clock in the afternoon. After drying their feet and putting on shoes, the two began their return journey. The weather in June. The sun at noon is quite scorching. After walking a few steps, Zhang Yuxi had already begun to sweat profusely. Seeing this, Lin Feng ran to the banana forest on the side of the road and picked a large banana leaf and brought it back. He held the banana leaf and placed it on top of Zhang Yuxi's head to block the sun for her. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's hand on her head and was moved. Lin Feng, this fool, is he really not afraid of spoiling himself? Then the two quickened their pace, and soon, Zhang Yuxi's grandmother's house appeared in front of them. As soon as the two entered the yard, they felt a hint of coolness, and the stuffiness on their bodies seemed to be dispelled a little. At this time, Zhao Lizian saw that the two had returned and called them to come for lunch. At this time, Zhang Yuxi's father Zhang Fuiong was also sober, and he looked at Lin Feng with a little discomfort. This kid actually lied to himself that he couldn't drink. However, Zhang Fuiong soon adjusted his mentality. No matter how awesome Lin Feng is, I am still his father-in-law. I have won this point. Zhang Fuiong thought to himself. You are back, come and have dinner. Zhang Fuiong said lightly. After they washed their hands and sat down, they began to eat. At the dinner table, Lin Feng hesitated a little, but still spoke. Uncle, and Yuxi and I want to take advantage of the holiday to travel and see a little bit. Zhang Yuxi also looked at her parents expectantly at this time. Travel? Just the two of you? Zhang Fuiong asked casually. Yes. Lin Feng nodded. Where are you two going to go? Zhang Fuiong thought for a while and said. We plan to go to Sichuan and Tibet to see and feel the atmosphere of pilgrims. Lin Feng said. Zhao Lizian had just sat down at the dinner table, and now she also knew that Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi wanted to travel. The couple looked at each other, and then Zhang Fuiong slowly spoke. Well, go ahead. You two must be careful on the way. And you kid, don't bully my daughter. Otherwise, watch out for your 5 limbs. Oh, it seems that the matter of 5 limbs can't be resolved. Lin Feng was a little helpless. Okay, uncle, and, please rest assured, I will definitely take good care of Yuxi. Well, Zhang Fuiong said lightly. At this time, Zhang Yuxi was very happy in her heart, and her face was filled with a smile that could not be hidden. Dad, Mom, don't worry, Lin Feng and I will take good care of ourselves. After Zhao Lizian's repeated instructions, the couple finally felt relieved. After getting their parents' permission, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi looked at each other, and they were both very happy. Chapter 895 Daughter-in-Law. The travel plan was approved by Zhang Yuxi's parents. After lunch, the two simply packed up and planned to return to Shanghai in the afternoon. The Sichuan Tibet trip requires going to the city to buy some outdoor travel equipment, and then set off the day after tomorrow, and Lin Feng also has to go back to tell his parents. At 2 o'clock in the afternoon, after saying goodbye to Zhang Yuxi's parents, the two got on the car and set off. Along the way, Lin Feng drove very slowly. The two enjoyed the scenery along the way and chatted, feeling very comfortable. Soon the car got on the highway, and Zhang Yuxi fell asleep in the car. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi sleeping soundly, smiled slightly, and the car accelerated to Shanghai. At about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, Lin Feng's Mercedes-Benz G500 appeared at the entrance of the Shanghai Expressway toll station. When Lin Feng stopped the car and queued to pass the toll station, Zhang Yuxi's eyelashes trembled and woke up slowly. She rubbed her eyes and spoke in a daze. "Lin Feng, are we there?" Lin Feng reached out and rubbed her head, saying softly and tenderly, "Well, we're almost there." Lin Feng's Mercedes-Benz G500 had been registered with ETC, so it quickly passed the toll booth and the two headed towards Lin Feng's residential area. "Yuxi, it's a little late today. Let's go to the city center to buy travel equipment tomorrow," Lin Feng said as he drove. Zhang Yuxi nodded gently as she saw that the sky was gradually getting dark. "Yuxi, I'll take you home today. My mother has always wanted to see you," Lin Feng said. "Ah, Lin Feng, I'm a little scared," Zhang Yuxi said nervously. "My parents are very easy to talk to, don't worry." Lin Feng held the steering wheel with one hand, freed up one hand, and gently held Zhang Yuxi's hand, signaling her not to be nervous. Then Lin Feng took out his mobile phone and called his mother Zhou Qilan. Beep beep. Soon the call was connected, and Lin Feng connected to the Bluetooth in the car. Soon Zhou Qilan's voice rang in the car. "Hello, son, what's wrong? Are you back?" Zhou Qilan asked in one breath. "Well, Mom, I'm getting home. Are you home?" Lin Feng asked. "Well, Mom just got back from get off work. I've already resigned as you said. I won't have to go after handing over my work in a few days. It's time to enjoy a few days of peace," Zhou Qilan said with emotion. "Mom, well, I'm getting home. Well, Yuxi came back with me," Lin Feng said a little embarrassed. "Huh? My daughter-in-law is coming over. Why didn't you tell me earlier?" "No. Then I have to prepare well. Mom will go out to buy more vegetables now so that my daughter-in-law can taste Mom's cooking skills," Zhou Qilan said excitedly. Zhang Yuxi heard everything Zhou Qilan said. Auntie actually said she was the daughter-in-law. Zhang Yuxi's face flushed all the way to her neck. She was so shy. "Oh, Mom, I'm driving. The phone is on the external speaker," Lin Feng said a little embarrassedly. "Ah, Yuxi is here too? Come over later, Auntie will make you something delicious, just treat it like your own home," Zhou Qilan said without any embarrassment, as if the person who called Zhang Yuxi daughter-in-law just now was not her. "Hello, Auntie, don't bother, just eat something casually," Zhang Yuxi blushed and said obediently. "That won't work. Auntie is going out to buy groceries now, you can sit for a while when you arrive." Zhou Qilan hung up the phone after she finished speaking. She took her wallet and keys and went out excitedly. Lin Feng in the car looked at Zhang Yuxi awkwardly and said helplessly, "Yuxi, my mother is so enthusiastic, she is easy to talk to, don't worry." Zhang Yuxi's mind was full of Lin Feng's mother Zhou Qilan's words, daughter-in-law. The whole person was shy and at a loss. Lin Feng's words brought her back to her senses, and she nodded gently. Boom. The sound of the car engine sounded, and Lin Feng's Mercedes-Benz G500 slowly drove into the community. After Lin Feng parked the car, he carried Zhang Yuxi down from the car. Well, it was mainly because the car was a bit high. It was definitely not to take advantage. Then the two took the elevator to the door of Lin Feng's house. Zhang Yuxi looked at the door in front of her, and her heart couldn't help but get nervous, and her heartbeat accelerated. She pulled Lin Feng's hand and said nervously in a low voice, "Lin Feng, I'm scared." Lin Feng gently held her hand and said gently, "Little fool, don't be afraid, I'm here." The two stood at the door for a long time, and Zhang Yuxi's nervousness was slightly calmed down. "Okay, Yuxi, don't be afraid. As the saying goes, an ugly daughter-in-law will meet her parents-in-law sooner or later. What's more, my Yuxi is as beautiful as a fairy. My parents will like you very much, don't worry," Lin Feng said softly. Zhang Yuxi had calmed down a lot at this time. She looked at Lin Feng and nodded gently. Click. Lin Feng took out a key and opened the door. Then he took Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked in. As soon as Lin Feng entered the door, he heard the sound of cooking in the kitchen. Lin Feng shouted to the kitchen, "Mom, I'm back." "Hey." Zhou Qilan responded in the kitchen. Then she walked out of the kitchen while wiping her hands with a smile on her face. "Mom, this is Zhang Yuxi, your son's girlfriend." Lin Feng introduced Zhang Yuxi to his mother with a smile on his face. "Hello, Auntie. Zhang Yuxi called shyly and obediently. Hey. Yuxi, you too, I've heard Lin Feng talking about you for a long time. As expected, you are a great beauty. Zhou Qilan walked forward with a smile on her face, holding Zhang Yuxi's hand and said. Zhang Yuxi's face became even redder with shyness when she heard Zhou Qilan say this. Lin Feng looked at the two of them with a smile on his face. This was the first meeting between the mother-in-law and the daughter-in-law. Zhou Qilan was speechless when she saw Zhang Yuxi's appearance. When she stood with her son Lin Feng, they were really a perfect match. The more Zhou Qilan looked at her, the more she liked her and the more satisfied she was. After the two of them talked for a few more words, the sound of boiling water came from the kitchen. Zhou Qilan slapped her thigh and said hurriedly. Son, you and Zhang Yuxi sit on the sofa for a while. There's more soup in the kitchen. Mom will go to check the soup first. We can eat soon. After saying that, she hurried back to the kitchen. At this time, Zhang Yuxi looked shy, and she didn't know where to put her hands. She looked at a loss. Lin Feng stepped forward and gently took her hand. The two sat on the sofa. Zhang Yuxi sat on the sofa like a good baby, and she spoke in a low voice. Lin Feng, should I help Auntie cook? Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's nervous look, touched her face, and said with a smile. No need. Just sit there obediently. Zhang Yuxi opened her mouth, wanting to say something but stopping herself, so she had to sit there obediently. Soon Lin Feng's mother finished cooking. At this moment, the door rang. Chapter 896 Dad's Warning. Catcha. Lin Dashan opened the door and shouted inside. Wife, what did you cook today? It smells so good. Zhang Yuxi was even more nervous when she saw Lin Feng's father Lin Dashan coming back. After Lin Dashan came in, he changed his shoes and looked up. Hey, Lin Feng is back. Huh? Question mark. This little girl. Could it be Lin Feng's girlfriend Zhang Yuxi? Lin Dashan thought with some doubt. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi's hand and stepped forward to speak. Dad, this is Zhang Yuxi I told you about. Hello, uncle. Zhang Yuxi said nervously. Yuxi, hello. She is really stunningly beautiful. Lin Feng is lucky. Haha. Lin Dashan looked at the beautiful Zhang Yuxi and said with a smile. Dad, do you say this about your son? Lin Feng smiled bitterly. Lin Dashan looked at Lin Feng with disdain. Tisk, isn't it? I don't know what good fortune you had in your previous life to find a girlfriend like Yuxi. Just be happy. Lin Dashan retorted. Oh. Lin Feng had no choice but to smile bitterly. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing when she saw Lin Feng and his son bickering, and the tension in her heart was also reduced by 3 points. Okay, wash your hands and eat quickly. My daughter-in-law is starving. Can you afford to compensate her? Zhou Qilan said a little unhappily when she saw the father and son bickering. Zhang Yuxi's face turned red again when she was shocked by Zhou Qilan's words. Zhou Qilan came forward and took Zhang Yuxi's hand kindly, and the two sat at the dining table. After they sat down, they ate and chatted, and the scene was harmonious. Yuxi, eat more, you look too thin. Zhou Qilan said as she put food into Zhang Yuxi's bowl. The food in Zhang Yuxi's bowl was almost piled up into a small hill. Zhang Yuxi couldn't eat so much, and she looked at Lin Feng for help. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's innocent eyes, smiled slightly, and said, Mom, it's okay. Yuxi, this is not called thin, this is called slim. Girls have to keep in shape, Mom, you don't understand. Lin Dashan also saw Zhang Yuxi's embarrassment, so he spoke up to help. Okay, wife, you don't understand the young people nowadays. They are full after eating a little, and those stars eat even less, so let's not get involved. As he said that, he picked up a piece of meat for Zhou Qilan. Zhou Qilan said a little embarrassedly. Yuxi, Auntie just wants you to eat more, there is no other meaning. Zhang Yuxi knew that Zhou Qilan was doing this for her own good, and she smiled sweetly and said, Auntie, it's okay, Yuxi understands. The scene instantly returned to laughter and joy. And most of the dishes piled up like a small hill in Zhang Yuxi's bowl went into Lin Feng's stomach. The couple looked at Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, the young couple, and smiled with satisfaction at how easy it was for them to get along. The two of them were quite satisfied with Zhang Yuxi, their daughter-in-law. The meal was very harmonious. After the meal, Zhang Yuxi took the initiative to ask to help clean up the table. Zhou Qilan refused at first, but finally couldn't persuade her, so they had to clean up together in the kitchen. Lin Feng and Lin Dashan, listening to the laughter coming from the kitchen from time to time, smiled at each other. Stinky boy, I think Zhang Yuxi is a good girl. You are not allowed to bully her or do things that are sorry for her. Even though you have a lot of money now, if you dare to do this, I will still not recognize you as my son. Lin Dashan said to Lin Feng with a serious face. At this time, Zhang Yuxi just walked out of the kitchen door and happened to hear what Lin's father said, and was moved. Lin Feng saw Zhang Yuxi walking out of the kitchen at this time. He stepped forward and hugged Zhang Yuxi's waist, and spoke seriously to his father Lin Dashan. Dad, don't worry. I will never let Yuxi down, I promise you. Zhang Yuxi's face turned red when Lin Feng suddenly hugged her waist, but Lin Feng's words the next second moved her to tears. Lin Dashan looked at the two people's happy faces and smiled with satisfaction. He believed in his son. After all, Lin Feng was quite reliable since he was a child. It's up to him. Well, Lin Dashan thought so. Then the family sat on the sofa, watching TV and chatting, laughing like silver bells from time to time, looking happy. Time soon came, more than 10 o'clock in the evening. Since Zhang Yuxi's parents were in the countryside, Lin Feng couldn't let her stay at home alone, and he was worried. So Zhang Yuxi stayed at Lin Feng's house tonight at the request of Lin Feng's parents. As for where Zhang Yuxi slept? Of course, she slept in Lin Feng's room. And Lin Feng? He could only gloriously become the director. Since Zhang Yuxi didn't go home, there was no rush. Several people continued to chat in the living room. Lin Feng suddenly spoke up. Dad, Mom, Yuxi and I are planning to take advantage of this holiday to go on a trip. Zhou Qilin spoke up as soon as she heard what Lin Feng said. Do Yuxi's parents know that you two are going on a trip? After all, it's not a small matter for two people to go on a trip alone. If Zhang Yuxi's parents disagree, then she certainly can't agree. After all, this matter must respect the opinions of other people's parents. But Lin Dashan didn't mean to do it. Anyway, Lin Feng is not a kid anymore, and he knows how to do things. Seeing his mother asking this, Lin Feng quickly spoke up. Mom, Yuxi's parents know about this, and they agree. Oh, since Yuxi's parents agree, then you can go, but you must pay attention to safety along the way. Zhou Qilin saw that Lin Feng said that Zhang Yuxi's parents agreed, so she naturally agreed, and she opened her mouth to warn. Mom, don't worry, we too will take good care of ourselves. Lin Feng spoke up with a serious face. Several people talked about some things to pay attention to when traveling. Then, Lin Dashan saw that it was getting late. Then he asked Lin Feng and the other two to take a shower and rest early. Lin Feng took Zhang Yuxi back to the room. After he got new toiletries for Zhang Yuxi, he turned on the computer in the room and looked up the route of the Sichuan-Tibet trip, writing and drawing on paper. After all, making a good strategy can save unnecessary trouble when going out. Just as Lin Feng was writing and drawing on paper and making a strategy, Zhang Yuxi came out of the shower. While wiping her hair, she looked at what Lin Feng was doing curiously. Lin Feng, what are you doing? Zhang Yuxi asked curiously. Oh, I'm planning the route for the trip. Lin Feng answered casually. Then Zhang Yuxi also came over, watching him write and draw, and giving some suggestions. A faint fragrance of shower gel wafted over, and Lin Feng looked up at Zhang Yuxi. Zhang Yuxi was particularly beautiful tonight. Although she looked at her every day, she was still amazing. Lin Feng was stunned. Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng. But Lin Feng was unmoved. Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng, who looked like a dead pig that was not afraid of boiling water, and felt helpless. There was really nothing I could do to him, this stinky Lin Feng. Humph. Zhang Yuxi thought to herself. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelis. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 897, Brat, did you change your car? Afterwards, the two stopped playing around. Together, they studied the travel route carefully. This was their first trip together, so naturally they wanted to leave the best memories. They carefully planned and perfected the travel strategy. Lin Feng stretched and took a long breath. He finally finished the travel strategy for the Sichuan-Tibet trip. Now all he had to do was go out and buy equipment tomorrow. Seeing that it was getting late, he had to go out and buy travel equipment tomorrow. So Lin Feng got up, took his clothes, and prepared to take a shower. It took a whole day to get back to Shanghai from the countryside. Zhang Yuxi was also tired, so she lay down on the bed to rest. When Lin Feng came out of the shower, he found that Zhang Yuxi had fallen asleep. Looking at Zhang Yuxi's sleeping face with a slight smile, he didn't know what this little fool was dreaming about when she fell asleep. She was still smiling even when she was asleep. Lin Feng leaned over and covered her with a quilt, then turned around to turn off the lights and gently closed the door. He had to go back to the sofa in the living room to sleep. There was no way. After all, it was Zhang Yuxi's first time to come home. If the two of them slept together directly, it would not be good for Zhang Yuxi. In fact, when Lin Feng kissed Zhang Yuxi had already woken up. She didn't sleep very deeply. She knew that Lin Feng came to turn off the lights and cover her with a blanket. It was just that she was a little shy, so she pretended to sleep. After Lin Feng left, Zhang Yuxi lay on the bed, with her eyes open, not knowing what she was thinking. I don't know how long it took, but Lin Feng fell asleep on the sofa. In a daze, Lin Feng vaguely heard someone calling his name. He slowly opened his eyes. Because the nightlight in the living room was not turned off, Lin Feng saw Zhang Yuxi lying at the door of his room, sticking out a little head, and calling him anxiously. The voice was not loud, and even a little deliberately suppressed. Lin Feng woke up all of a sudden. He got up from the sofa, tiptoed to the door of the room, and asked in a low voice. Yuxi, what's wrong? Zhang Yuxi spoke in an unnatural low voice. Lin Feng, I'm scared. After hearing what Zhang Yuxi said, Lin Feng couldn't help laughing, but when he saw her nervous face, he didn't dare to laugh out loud. He smiled and rubbed Zhang Yuxi's little head, and said softly, I'll accompany you, little fool. After hearing what Lin Feng said, Zhang Yuxi nodded fiercely, like a chicken pecking at rice. So Lin Feng entered the room quietly and closed the door. With a bang, the door closed. The two lay quietly on the bed. Lin Feng saw that Zhang Yuxi was a little nervous. He said softly, Be good, go to sleep quickly, I will go out early tomorrow morning and lie on the sofa, they won't know. Yes, Zhang Yuxi responded softly. Soon her breathing became quiet and long, and she fell asleep. After running all day today, Zhang Yuxi has been in a nervous state and is really tired. Lin Feng gently touched Zhang Yuxi's little face, without a trace of distracting thoughts in his mind. Then he soon fell asleep. Early the next morning, Lin Feng woke up before dawn, at around 5 o'clock. Seeing that Zhang Yuxi was still sleeping soundly, he got up quietly and went out quietly. As soon as he closed the door, he happened to run into his mother Jacqueline, who got up to make breakfast. The two looked at each other and the atmosphere was a little awkward. Lin Feng said a little embarrassedly, Mom, if I say it's not what you think, do you believe it? Jacqueline rolled her eyes at him and said nothing. Lin Feng had to touch his nose and get back to bed on the sofa to make up for his sleep. Lin Feng was really tired. He drove all day, came back from the countryside, and worked most of the night. He slept for less than 3 or 4 hours. Soon, Lin Feng fell asleep on the sofa. He slept until the sun was high in the sky, and then Lin Feng woke up slowly. When Lin Feng woke up, he rubbed his eyes and found that Zhang Yuxi was sitting next to the sofa, staring at him. Seeing that he was awake, a sweet smile appeared on his face. Lin Feng reached out and touched Zhang Yuxi's little face, smiling gently. Have you been awake for a long time? Zhang Yuxi nodded and said with a smile. Get up, the sun is shining on my butt, you lazy pig. Oh, this girl, she actually dared to scold me in a roundabout way. Lin Feng reached out and pulled, and Zhang Yuxi threw herself into Lin Feng's arms. The two of them started to play on the sofa, laughing continuously. Ahem. At this time, Jacqueline came out of the kitchen, watching the two playing on the sofa, and coughed. Zhang Yuxi jumped up from the sofa like a rabbit, and a layer of blush appeared on her face instantly. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's shy and cute appearance, and felt funny in his heart. Son, hurry up and get up, wash up and have breakfast. Yuxi has already gotten up, and you're sleeping like a pig. Jacqueline rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said unhappily. Okay. I will get up right away, as ordered by my mother. Lin Feng saw that his mother's tone was not right, and quickly replied. He jumped up from the sofa, and then ran back to the room to change clothes. Jacqueline looked at her son's funny look, smiled and shook her head. Puff. Zhang Yuxi couldn't help laughing when she was watching from the side. Zhang Yuxi folded the quilt that Lin Feng had slept on the sofa, and took it into the room. Zhou Qilin looked at Zhang Yuxi's actions, nodded, and was more satisfied with his daughter-in-law. First of all, appearance is justice. Zhang Yuxi's beautiful face is impeccable, and she is polite, gentle and lovely. It's impossible not to be satisfied. Zhou Qilin looked at Zhang Yuxi's big where it should be big, thin where it should be thin, and her round buttocks. She thought, she will have grandchildren in the future. Zhou Qilin thought to herself that she was really very satisfied with Zhang Yuxi, and the relationship between Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi was really good. The two of them lived happily, which was more important than anything else. Soon Lin Feng finished washing and came out. After he and Zhang Yuxi had breakfast, they went out. Today, they were going to buy travel equipment, and take Zhang Yuxi shopping and buy her some clothes. After the two of them went down to the parking lot, Lin Feng thought that he would have to load all kinds of equipment later, so it would not be appropriate to drive the Ferrari 488. It would be better to drive the Mercedes-Benz G500. This scene was seen by Lin Dashin, who was driving downstairs at the same time. Fuck, Mercedes-Benz G500. This kid, when did he buy another car? I didn't even know. No, I have to ask him for the Ferrari 488 to drive for a few days. It's a man's dream car. He has wanted to drive it for a long time. Lin Dashin thought to himself. Hey, brat, did you change the car? He said. Well, aren't we going to travel? The sports car there is not suitable for self-driving tours, so I bought this one. I just changed it a few days ago. Lin Feng said casually when he saw his father asking him. Now his family is not short of money, so just buy a car, and Lin Dashin didn't say anything. Since you are going on a trip, let your dad drive the Ferrari 488 for a few days, so that I can experience the feeling of a beast. Lin Dashin rubbed his hands and said. Lin Feng took out the car key of the Ferrari 488 from his bag and threw it to his father. Okay, Dad, you can drive it if you want, but don't drive it to pick up girls, otherwise Mom won't let you go. Lin Feng joked. Lin Dashin took the car key with an excited look on his face. When he saw Lin Feng teasing him, he glared at him and said. Go away. Am I that kind of person, your dad? Yuxi, you have to keep an eye on him. This kid is not honest. If he bullies you, tell your uncle and your uncle will help you break his legs. Pucci. Zhang Yuxi looked at the conversation between Lin Feng and his son and was amused. She gently held Lin Feng's hand, looked at Lin Feng gently, and said. Uncle, don't worry, I believe Lin Feng won't do that. Lin Feng looked at his father with a smug smile. Oh, young people nowadays are so cheesy. I won't talk to you anymore. I'm going to the company. Then he opened Lin Feng's Ferrari 488, stepped on the accelerator, and drove out of the underground parking lot quickly, disappearing from the sight of the two. Puff. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi, who were standing in place, smiled at each other. Then he got on the Mercedes-Benz G500, Lin Feng started the car, and soon disappeared in the underground parking lot. Soon Lin Feng drove the car to the commercial street in the city center. After parking the car, the two walked into the mall. Yuxi, let's go buy the travel equipment, water bottles, camping tents and the like first. Lin Feng said to Zhang Yuxi. Yes, listen to you. Zhang Yuxi said sweetly. The two walked into the mall hand in hand. Lin Feng took out the guide he had made last night from his bag, which listed in detail what equipment was needed for the trip. According to the equipment list listed on the table, the two soon bought the equipment. Lin Feng's hands were full of things, and Zhang Yuxi also helped to carry some lighter water bottles and the like. Yuxi, let's go to the parking lot first and put the things in the car. It's really inconvenient to carry them like this. After Lin Feng finished speaking, the two walked towards the elevator. Just then. Huh? That seems to be my brother Li Tian. Lin Feng looked at the man who was handing out flyers not far away and was a little confused. At this time, the elevator came, and Lin Feng didn't think too much, and entered the elevator with Zhang Yuxi. Inside the elevator, Zhang Yuxi saw that Lin Feng was a little dazed, so she asked with concern. Lin Feng, what's wrong? Are you tired because of too many things? Huh? No, I just seem to see a good friend of mine, but his whole family moved to another province, so he shouldn't be here. I guess I saw it wrong. Lin Feng smiled and shook his head. If it was really his brother Li Tian, he shouldn't have come to see him, right? Besides, that person was handing out flyers. Li Tian's father was in politics and his mother was in business, so he was not short of money. I guess they look a bit alike, I just saw it wrong. Then, Lin Feng put it out of his mind. After the two of them went down to the parking lot, they put their things away and came back up. When they passed by the place where they seemed to have seen Li Tian just now, there was no one there. Lin Feng didn't think about it anymore, and took Zhang Yuxi's hand, and the two of them went shopping. Chapter 898 Crazy Consumption. In a well-known clothing store, Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who had changed into a white short skirt. Lin Feng was completely stunned. This is completely like a fairy descending to earth, a princess who walked out of a fairy tale world. Not only Lin Feng, but also the passers-by and the shop assistants were amazed by Zhang Yuxi. They had never seen such a beautiful and fairy-like person. The shop assistant quickly came to her senses. After all, she had her job responsibilities. She walked up and said, "Miss, this princess dress really suits you very well, and your temperament is impeccable. Now our brand is having an event, and this dress only costs 38,000 yuan, which is a big discount compared to usual." 38,000 yuan. Zhang Yuxi was shocked by the price. From childhood to adulthood, she had never worn such expensive clothes. At this time, Lin Feng spoke to the shop assistant. "Please help me pack up the ones I just tried on and the one I'm trying on now. I want them all." Zhang Yuxi got anxious when she heard that. So many, how much would it cost? She knew Lin Feng was rich, but it would cost hundreds of thousands of dollars to buy a few clothes. She felt that there was no need to waste it. She gently approached Lin Feng and whispered, "Lin Feng, don't take it. It's too expensive." Lin Feng was moved by the way Zhang Yuxi felt sorry for him. He looked at Zhang Yuxi and said gently, "Don't worry, my wife, your husband is very rich." After that, he looked at the clerk and said, "Pack them all up and swipe the card." He handed a bank card to the clerk. Lin Feng's words of swiping the card made the passers-by envious. They also wanted a handsome and rich boyfriend. Seeing this, Zhang Yuxi had no choice but to let him go. The clerk also said to Zhang Yuxi with envy, "Your boyfriend is so good to you." Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng with love in her eyes. Then the clerk swiped the card, handed it back to Lin Feng respectfully with both hands, and smiled. "Hello, Mr. Lin. The total consumption this time is 158,678 yuan. Please keep the card and welcome to come next time." Lin Feng held Zhang Yuxi's hand and walked out of the door with the clerk's enthusiastic voice. The female clerk stood at the door, watching Lin Feng holding Zhang Yuxi's hand and gradually walking away, and couldn't help sighing in her heart. The man is so handsome, and the woman is really beautiful, a match made in heaven. When will it be my turn to have a sweet love? Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were walking, and Lin Feng saw that Zhang Yuxi's shoelaces suddenly loosened. He smiled gently. Lin Feng put down the bag in his hand, squatted down, and gently helped Zhang Yuxi tie the shoelaces. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng's gentle appearance and suddenly spoke softly. "Lin Feng, you spoil me so much, aren't you afraid that one day you will spoil me?" Lin Feng clapped his hands and stood up, rubbed Zhang Yuxi's head, and spoke gently. "Little fool, wouldn't it be better if you were spoiled? Then you will never be able to leave me." Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng, her eyes reddened, and she was deeply moved. She gently threw herself into Lin Feng's arms and hugged him. "Lin Feng, I will never leave you in this life, even if you drive me away, I won't leave." Zhang Yuxi murmured in Lin Feng's arms. "Little fool, there are so many people watching." Lin Feng suddenly joked. "Ah." Zhang Yuxi hurriedly struggled out of Lin Feng's arms. She saw that everyone passing by was looking at this side, and her face flushed in an instant, so embarrassing. She took Lin Feng's hand and left quickly. When passing by a brand men's clothing store, Zhang Yuxi thought that Lin Feng had just bought clothes for herself, but she didn't buy any. So she took Lin Feng and walked into the men's clothing store. "Welcome." The clerk of the men's clothing store saw Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi walk in, and hurriedly said enthusiastically, "Lin Feng, I'll buy you 2 clothes too. You bought them for me, so it's my turn to buy you 2. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng seriously and said. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's serious look and smiled. "Okay." So Zhang Yuxi started to pick clothes for Lin Feng seriously. After a careful selection, Zhang Yuxi came over with 2 clothes. "Lin Feng, what do you think of these 2 clothes?" Lin Feng looked at her tenderly and said, "The clothes my wife picked are naturally good. I believe in my wife's vision. Hateful. So disgusting." Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said. Then she urged him to go to the fitting room and change clothes. 2 minutes later, Lin Feng came out. Zhang Yuxi's eyes lit up. Lin Feng is 1.83 meters tall, and he looks very handsome even when he wears casual clothes. Now he puts on this exquisitely crafted suit, which gives people a mature and steady temperament in his youth. He is very handsome. Zhang Yuxi admired and nodded with satisfaction. This fool in her family is really handsome. Several couples who were choosing clothes nearby were talking quietly while looking at Lin Feng. So handsome. She completely ignored her boyfriend's dark face. Then Lin Feng went in and changed into a few sets of casual clothes. Those simple clothes look very handsome on Lin Feng. He was really a natural clothes hanger. Then Zhang Yuxi remembered something. She ran to the shoe area and chose a pair of leather shoes and sneakers for Lin Feng. After Lin Feng put them on, he looked even more handsome. It was perfect. In the end, at Zhang Yuxi's insistence, Zhang Yuxi had to pay the bill by credit card. The total amount was 50,000 yuan. Although it was not much, Lin Feng estimated that this was all the money Zhang Yuxi had saved over the years. Lin Feng was also very moved. He gently took Zhang Yuxi's hand and vowed that in this life, he must make Zhang Yuxi the girl that everyone in the world envied. The two went down to the parking lot, picked up the car, and went home. They were like a newlywed couple, returning from shopping and bringing large and small bags home. Chapter 899, A Pillow for Those Who Feel Sleepy. Time passed quickly. It was time to go to bed again. Just like last night, at around 12 o'clock, Lin Feng sneaked back to the room from the living room and slept until dawn with Zhang Yuxi in his arms. This time, Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi got up early together. The two remembered the small noodle stall near the school, which was where Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi met formally for the first time. After the two finished washing up, they slowly walked towards the small noodle stall near the school. Soon they arrived in front of the noodle stall, and it was still the uncle boss. "Boss, give me 2 servings of beef noodles," Lin Feng said casually to the boss. "Okay," the uncle replied casually. Then he looked up and recognized Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi. "Hey, it's you two. Why are you here so early today? Isn't the school on holiday?" the uncle asked with some confusion. Lin Feng glanced at Zhang Yuxi and said with a smile, "Isn't this a certain little greedy cat who misses the uncle's cooking, so today he comes to try it and satisfy the little greedy cat?" Zhang Yuxi heard Lin Feng say this about herself. She rolled her eyes at Lin Feng, and then said, "It's obviously you, a greedy pig, who wants to eat it, The uncle at the noodle stall looked at the two people bickering, shook his head, and showed an ant smile. It was still early, and there were not many people, so the uncle quickly brought the noodles up. Looking at the steaming, hot beef noodles, a fragrance came to the face, which made people's appetites whetted. Lin Feng hadn't eaten this noodle for a few days, and he really missed it, and then he ate it with relish. After Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi finished breakfast, they returned to Lin Feng's house, took the packed luggage, and were about to start the Sichuan-Tibet trip. After the two said goodbye to Lin Feng's parents, they carried their things down to the parking lot. After putting the things away, Lin Feng helped Zhang Yuxi get in the car. He jumped into the driver's seat and carefully fastened Zhang Yuxi's seat belt. Then he inserted the key and started the Mercedes-Benz G500. At this moment, the two of them were looking forward to the upcoming Sichuan-Tibet trip. "Yuxi, sit tight, we're leaving now." Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi and said, his voice full of excitement. A trip for two people, this should be the first time for him and Zhang Yuxi to be alone together. Lin Feng was really looking forward to it. Yet, Zhang Yuxi was also looking forward to it and excited. She smiled and nodded. Boom! The engine of the Mercedes-Benz G500 roared, and soon it drove out of the underground parking lot. The sun had just risen at this time. Lin Feng drove the car, taking Zhang Yuxi all the way to meet the rising sun. Lin Feng's Mercedes-Benz G500 soon drove out of the city of Motu and headed for the highway. There was cheerful music in the car, and Zhang Yuxi spoke softly beside him. The morning sun shone through the car window on their faces, and everything seemed so beautiful. Soon Lin Feng's car left a Motu toll station and got on the highway. Lin Feng and Zhang Yuxi were driving while enjoying the scenery along the way. Mountains surround the highway on both sides. The morning sun shines on the mountains and the mist rises. The peaks change into various interesting postures against a backdrop of the mist. Sometimes they look like fairies, sometimes like old men holding sticks, sometimes like monkeys offering peaches, and sometimes like wild horses running away. In the distance, The continuous mountains that seem to be inlaid in the sky reflect the glittering golden light under the shining sun, which looks particularly magnificent, like a beautiful oil painting. Lin Feng, it's so beautiful. Zhang Yuxi looked at the beautiful scenery on the road in front of her, and her delicate and beautiful face was filled with a happy smile, and she spoke softly. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi's happy look and smiled happily. The scenery along the way and the beauty accompanied him. Lin Feng felt that driving was not so tiring. Thinking of this, Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal a hint of smile at the corner of his mouth. Zhang Yuxi saw Lin Feng, and a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. He was a little curious about what bad things this bad guy was thinking about. Lin Feng was driving and did not notice Zhang Yuxi's gaze. Suddenly, the crisp mechanical sound of the system rang in his mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for starting a new stage of life goal, to be accompanied by a beautiful woman. Triggering the system reward conditions, reward new skills, master level fighting ability. Congratulations to the host for triggering the hidden reward, the ability to master multiple languages in the world. Note 1, excellent fighting ability and a strong physique can better protect the beauty around you. The fighting master ability will be obtained through memory transmission and muscle-assisted memory function. With a master level fighting ability, the host will obtain fighting skills and physical fitness comparable to those of a first-level soldier in the Special Operations Forces. Note 2, the ability to master multiple languages in the world, including mainstream languages of countries around the world, as well as local languages. For example, China, Chinese, Cantonese, Tibetan, etc. The system just finished speaking. At this moment, a large amount of memories flooded into Lin Feng's mind, filling his entire mind, and he was stunned. Fortunately, Lin Feng has master-level car driving skills, and his body instinctively controls the normal driving of the vehicle. If it were someone else, it would probably be an accident. The system really has nothing missing. At this moment, Lin Feng felt that his muscles bulged instantly, and the soft fat on his lower abdomen instantly flattened, and his 8 abdominal muscles rose from the ground. His body, which had originally lacked exercise, was instantly full of strength. Feeling the changes in his body, Lin Feng felt that he was now strong enough to kill a cow, and this kind of strength was not the kind of superficial muscle man, but the kind of restrained, but instantly bursting with strong physical strength. On the surface, Lin Feng was still the same as before, but he had an inexplicable temperament. Well, it should be the kind of sunshine with a hint of tough guy. The two different temperaments merged in Lin Feng, but they did not give people the slightest sense of abruptness, which was perfect. At this moment, Zhang Yuxi was sitting in the co-pilot's seat. She suddenly felt that Lin Feng had become more handsome than before, and the kind of handsomeness that became more and more handsome and more attractive the more she looked at him. Zhang Yuxi's face blushed with shyness as she watched. And Lin Feng was also very happy at this time. This system has not been active for a long time, and now it has brought so many surprises to me. Master-level fighting ability, small languages from all over the world. It just so happened that Lin Feng was worried about encountering some danger during this trip and could not protect Zhang Yuxi. Now it's good, no need to worry anymore. This is simply a pillow for sleepiness. The system reward is completely tailor-made for this trip. The system is really perfect, needles don't poke. Lin Feng couldn't help thinking. Thinking of this, Lin Feng's mouth corners slightly raised, revealing a hint of evil smile. Zhang Yuxi looked at Lin Feng and smiled foolishly. Well, that's what she felt. This fool, what is he thinking about? Laughing foolishly. Lin Feng couldn't help laughing out loud when thinking about it. Zhang Yuxi rolled his eyes at him and said, "Big bad guy, what bad things are you thinking about again?" Lin Feng came back to his senses when he heard Zhang Yuxi's voice. Lin Feng held the steering wheel with one hand and used one hand to rub Zhang Yuxi's little head. "Little fool, it's nothing," Lin Feng said gently. Zhang Yuxi looked at him suspiciously, obviously not believing it. He was laughing so evilly, he must be thinking about nothing good. Chapter 900, Changing Attitude Faster Than Turning the Pages of a Book. Afterwards, the two chatted while Lin Feng drove, and soon it was noon. Lin Feng slowly drove the car into the service area, intending to have lunch and take a break. Now it was not far from Conking City, and it was estimated that they would arrive at around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Then Lin Feng helped Zhang Yuxi down from the car, and the two walked into the service area hand in hand. After a simple lunch, the two returned to the car and rested for a while. At 1:30 in the afternoon, the two continued to set off. Boom! Lin Feng stepped on the accelerator to the bottom. The Mercedes-Benz G500 roared and drove out of the service area quickly. After driving for a while, Zhang Yuxi got up early today and was a little tired. She looked at Lin Feng and said softly, "Lin Feng, I'm a little sleepy, I want to sleep for a while." "Well, sleep, little fool," Lin Feng said gently. After driving for a while, Zhang Yuxi fell asleep in the co-pilot seat without knowing when. Lin Feng looked sideways at Zhang Yuxi's sleeping face, shook his head and smiled. Then he closed the car window, adjusted the temperature in the car to room temperature, and then adjusted the passenger seat to the most comfortable angle so that Zhang Yuxi could sleep peacefully. Lin Feng drove very fast, but the car body was still controlled very steadily. He didn't want to wake Zhang Yuxi. Time passed unknowingly. Lin Feng glanced at the car clock, and the time had come to 4:30 in the afternoon. Lin Feng's Mercedes-Benz G500 had also entered the jurisdiction of Kongqing City. The mountains along the way became extremely steep and dangerous, and the beauty of the mountains and rivers was even better than the mountains in the Magic City. After driving for a while, the expressway toll gate of Kongqing City was also in sight. At this time, Zhang Yuxi rubbed her eyes and woke up slowly. She looked at the surrounding environment in a daze, looking like she hadn't woken up yet, which looked very cute. She drank a sip of water, and after a while, she spoke softly. "Lin Feng, are we almost there?" "Yes, we're almost there, little lazy pig, have you slept enough?" Lin Feng smiled and said jokingly. "Hate it. I'm not a lazy pig." Zhang Yuxi rolled her eyes at Lin Feng and said coquettishly. Then, Zhang Yuxi ignored Lin Feng and admired the scenery outside the window. After watching for a while, Zhang Yuxi spoke softly. "Lin Feng, compared with the mountains in Shanghai, the mountains in Kongqing City have their own characteristics and are quite beautiful." After hearing what Zhang Yuxi said, Lin Feng nodded. "Well, it is indeed unique. Such a wonder can only be carved out by the magic of nature, and it is beyond human power." Lin Feng sighed. Then Zhang Yuxi continued to admire the scenery outside the car window. Lin Feng hummed Zhou's song all the way to the north. Although they are heading west at the moment, don't worry about these details, as long as it sounds good. Zhang Yuxi listened to Lin Feng's beautiful singing and looked at the scenery outside the car window, and her heart was intoxicated. Soon, Lin Feng's Mercedes-Benz G500 arrived at the exit of the toll station in Kongqing City. After queuing up to pass the gate, they officially entered the urban road of Kongqing City. Lin Feng followed the guidance of the navigation and drove all the way to the most luxurious five-star hotel in Kongqing City that had been booked in advance. After parking the rear car, Lin Feng carried the suitcase in one hand and held Zhang Yuxi's hand in the other, and the two walked into the hotel with smiles on their faces. After completing the check-in procedures, the two took the elevator upstairs. At this time, Zhang Yuxi lowered her head and blushed. When she thought that they would sleep in the same room tonight, she was so shy that she couldn't help herself. Lin Feng looked at Zhang Yuxi, who was as shy as an ostrich, and felt a little funny in his heart, this little fool. Then the two entered the room and put away their luggage. After a little washing, they planned to go out to the famous Jifangbai Bei Road food street in Kongqing City, visit the night market, and taste the local specialties. Soon the two went out. Since they were going to play, they naturally didn't drive. They went downstairs of the hotel and called a local taxi. The driver was a local from Qing City, speaking in a very friendly Trump accent. Along the way, Zhang Yuxi laughed like a silver bell from time to time. Soon they arrived at the destination, and the two said goodbye to the driver. Holding hands, they walked towards the pedestrian street. The two were a little hungry at this time. After driving for a day, they just ate something at the service area at noon. They were really hungry at this time. As soon as they stepped into the pedestrian street, the aroma of delicious food wafted from both sides of the road, which instantly whetted the appetite of the hungry two. Zhang Yuxi looked at the delicious snacks on both sides of the road, her face full of excitement. She took Lin Feng's hand and said excitedly, Lin Feng, these feel so delicious, I want to eat them from beginning to end, eat them all, ha ha ha." Lin Feng smiled and rubbed Zhang Yuxi's hair, saying gently, "Okay. Let's eat them all, dot." After that, the two began their sweeping journey. The two started with the first beef hot and sour noodles. Lin Feng saw Zhang Yuxi looking at the beef hot and sour noodles that were full of chili oil and the whole noodles were red. She was a little scared, but also eager to try. Lin Feng knew that Zhang Yuxi couldn't eat too spicy food, so he gently flicked Zhang Yuxi's head. Zhang Yuxi felt pain, covered her forehead, and rolled her eyes at Lin Feng. "Why did you flick me?" Lin Feng looked at her straight, and Zhang Yuxi felt a little guilty. That's right, she did want to try the spiciness that the local people in Kongqing usually eat. But Lin Feng discovered her little thought. Zhang Yuxi smiled embarrassedly. Then she pulled Lin Feng's arm and acted coquettishly. "I just want to try it, okay?" "No. Your stomach can't eat such spicy food at all. What if you have a stomach ache later?" "No means no. Acting coquettishly is useless," Lin Feng said firmly. "Humph." Zhang Yuxi snorted angrily and stopped talking. Seeing that she was angry, Lin Feng softened his heart all of a sudden. Lin Feng took her hand and said softly, "Okay, it's for your own good that I don't let you eat such spicy food. If you have a stomach ache later, it will be uncomfortable, right? Okay, don't be angry, be good. I'll give you something slightly spicy, that's okay. Little ancestor? Little baby? My dear wife?" In fact, Zhang Yuxi also knew that Lin Feng was doing it for her own good, afraid that she would have a stomach ache if she ate too spicy food. She just wanted Lin Feng to coax her, because Lin Feng was mean to her just now. "Humph, you know what's good for you." After saying that, Zhang Yuxi's face returned to a smile. Lin Feng wiped the sweat from his head and sighed in his heart. This woman. She changes her face faster than turning a page of a book. Being a man is really too difficult. However, Lin Feng only dared to think about it in his heart. How could he dare to say it out loud? If he said it out loud, he would be courting death, and even the gods could not save him. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.